everybody. I get to see so many of you. Welcome to the Build Your Brand Challenge. You guys ready today or what? You guys ready? Let's bring it today, okay? Let's bring it today. Thanks, everybody. So glad you guys are here. Now, I don't have any, if you've been to if you were at BM this week or UPW, I don't have Kinergy here. I don't have the big studio here today, but we are here to learn. We're here to build your brand over the next 5 days. I got Russell Brunson is live with us. Tony is live with us. He just did 5 days of business mastery, and he's here with us today. I'm going to go first, then it's going to be Russell, and then Tony's going to bring it home. You guys ready for a little training today? You ready for Tony's energy? Hey, all of you joining us on Facebook, what's up? Those of you who are in VIP joining us in the Zoom, it keeps switching. I get to see all your faces. I get to see Gary and Sophie and Sharon and Tracy and Pat and Kelly and Kristen and Alberto and Franz and Kelly and Danielle and Bobby and Joe and everybody. Listen. Let's just get right to it. If you know anything about me, if you're meeting me for the first time, it's a pleasure. We're going to get to know each other a lot over the next 5 days. And there's something I said yesterday, if you saw the pre-event training, just to really position this. This is truly myself, Russell, and Tony, and some special guests going really deep over the next 5 days, like intensive training to show you in a, not simple, but in a process, how to do this with taking away the complexity and truly building your personal brand, becoming a part or scaling in the digital economy, to unlock the knowledge currency that lives inside of you, or the story, or the mess that could become your message. And whether you have no idea why you're here, just because you know Tony, Russell, or me, or you're here because you know you're ready for more, that quarantine opened up your eyes to saying, I don't want to go back to the life I had. I don't want to feel insecure. I don't want to let the world guide me. I want to be in control. Whatever reason you're here, I want to share with you that we're going to deliver. Little scared, we're going to take that away and show you how to do it. Already in the game, we're going to show you how to go faster. So we're so excited we're here. And again, if you're ready, if you feel a calling, if you feel like would rather live more on purpose, to be a part of an industry where you get to share impact, but also something that's future-proof, something that's exponentially growing because of this shift in the world, because we've gone virtual, because 2/3 of the world is home. That's what we're going to show you. And again, I referenced yesterday, I said, I would love for you guys, truly, like trick your minds, like play this game with yourself, that you paid $5,000 to be here. I mean it, because I've known in life that sometimes when you don't pay attention. You kind of discredit those things you get for free sometimes, don't we? Like it's somebody invites you to an event and it's free because they're your friend. You're like, oh, maybe I'll go. But if you cut a check for $5 grand, your ass would be there taking notes nonstop, raising your hand, squeezing every dollar out of it, right? So I would love for you guys to think about that as we do this today. This isn't a joke. These are unprecedented times. And we truly are delivering something unprecedented over the next 5 days. Because, listen, the world has shifted. Usually Tony's on the road like 280 days a year. I'm about half of that on the road. Tony's running big companies. I'm running multiple companies. Russell's running multiple companies. When you add in travel and being all over, it's hard, it'd be impossible to do this. So COVID has taken a lot away, but it's also given us a lot. And for us to have the ability to be at home and come into your home, into your living rooms. I see so many of you at home, some of you with your children, some of you with your husbands, wives, family. Like we get to come into your home. This couldn't happen in a regular world. Thanks, Pat. I appreciate the energy, man. This couldn't happen in a regular world. So this is why we're here. So I guess this training is for anyone who's ever looked at someone else online sharing and selling and making an impact and go, how the hell do they do that? Or you've had this desire to, you've been called to serve, right? I want to give more. And you're ready to do that in an industry that's exponentially growing so we can unlock, we say knowledge is the new currency. How do we unlock that currency? How do we give you the confidence to say, I can do this? And then the strategies and tactics to make it real. Like what I'm going to ask you as well is pretend you spent $5 grand for this, legit. Take notes and know this is real. Like we're not dabbling here. We're actually going to go high level, inspiration, strategy, right down to tactical. And for those of you who got enrolled and you have the software too, we're going to be building that software together. So I'm going to encourage you, don't look back in 5 years and say, wow, I was a part of that challenge with Tony and Russell and Dean and those guests. It was really cool, but I didn't do anything with it. Like, it was really great, and they told me about this industry, and it was time when everybody was home, but I fell back into the hypnotic rhythm of my life. And that's not what we're here. Like, do you know how you can pay Tony and I and Russell for our time? Is take uncomfortable action. Take imperfect action. Tap into that scared, sometimes the imposter syndrome. Like, let's beat that inner imposter up, because that voice, that self-doubt has already cost you way too much in your life. So I'm going to ask you to play full out. Have fun. Listen, we're not going to have lots of music and crazy dancing. And that's what we're here to do, is bring fun and energy and tactics and capabilities. And more than anything, is give you the confidence to say, hell yes, this is my turn. I am not missing out anymore. I'm not being left behind. Listen, we have no idea how long this is going to last. We don't know if COVID's got 3 more months and a vaccine and no one cares, or it takes 3 more years. But are we going to sit and wait for the world to open up and fix for us? Or are we going to take ownership of our future? We're going to be in control. And this industry right now, building your own brand, this is our time. That's right, Doreen and Irvine. I see you guys playing full out. Gary and Babe and BB and Sylvia, I see you guys ready to go. Sophie, what's going on? I see the energy. Jason, good to have you here, man. Let's do this. Like, that's all I want to do. I want to position this today for you to go, screw it. I paid $5 grand for this. I'm going to squeeze every bit out and I'm going to implement. And remember, this is free. You're watching on Facebook. There's no fee, like no charge. There's nothing if you got the software. If you didn't, maybe you grab it later, but we're going to train. And then you could take it, put it all in your notes. But if you want the software, you grab that and go build it in there. That's why we did this for you. That's why we obsessed on this for you. So, so excited. Let me just tell you some of the things you're going to learn. We're going to give you over the next 5 days, and we're going to crunch here and deliver real capabilities. Sometimes when you do it long enough, between Tony and I and Russell, we got 70 plus years in this industry, right? So sometimes simplicity, I didn't make this up, but it sounds really cool. It makes me sound way smarter than I am. Sometimes, Doreen, don't laugh at me, simplicity lives on the other side of complexity, right? Did you ever notice, hey, who in here is over 35? Right? Most of us. Do you remember when life was really simple, maybe in your early 20s and before? Right? It was really simple. And then all of a sudden shit got, excuse my language, shit got complicated, right? Oh man, how do I handle this, that? And you start stressing and you start, old beliefs pop into your head. You go down paths, you start freaking out about people. I think people are talking about me, or this is wrong, or why don't people trust? And like life goes through this like complex piece, right? And then all of a sudden you get 40, 45, and you look back and go, oh my God, I worried about all the stuff that didn't matter. It was all crap. And it's like, now you're like back in your 20s, except now you have wisdom and you've navigated territory. And it's like, oh man, I let too much complexity mess with me. Well, Tony and I and Russell have 70 years in this, and that's what we obsessed on. How do we get to the other side of complexity? How do we show you the things, only things you need to know? Like, I have no, I'm sorry, this is that. Like, sometimes people go, you have to go to school for 4 years for a degree and take all these other electives. I don't know, I didn't go to college, so I'm just guessing here. When really all we need to know is the one thing. I don't want to learn the stuff I don't need to learn. I don't want to learn the stuff that you failed on, Tony or Dean or Russell. I just want to know what works right now and get my brand crushing it. That's what we're doing. That's why we could do this in 5 days. That's why we built a software where you could put a course up on our marketplace literally in less than 15 minutes. Not because of being the geniuses, it's because we got 70 years in this and we've already screwed up miserably, so you don't have to. Does that make sense? You guys ready? Can I get a commitment in the chat? I got chat here. I got Facebook chat down here. Can we get a commitment that we're going to go all in? That we're going to set an alarm, try to be here live. I know some of you are watching the replay because you're at home, but let's go. I see the chat rolling in. Let's go all in. Let's burn the boats. Let's play full out. Stop sitting on the sideline. Stop feeling like the imposter. I felt all those things in my life. But you got us right now for the next 5 days to show you how to do it. All right, so with that said, you guys ready to get right to some teaching? Okay, because what we're going to do over the next 5 days is we're going to show you what to sell confidently that lives inside of you, a story, a mess that's become your message, an expertise, a skill, a hobby, a passion, something. Remember, knowledge is the new currency. You have knowledge. You have something the world wants, and we're going to wake it up. And we're going to show you how to confidently go, oh, that's it. I got that. I could build my own virtual brand. I could build my personal brand. We're not only going to show you what to sell, we're going to show you who to sell it to, how to find that exact person, how to sell it, how to share it with confidence, and how to make this real and run it like a business. You guys up for that? You guys up for that? Who's committed? Sarah, I see it. Sarah Ray, I like that energy. Who's committed to playing full out and making this real? Who's committed to literally launching your personal brand like in a week from now? Tell me that doesn't make some of you like almost want to vomit and be excited all at the same time, right? It's like, I could do this and holy shit, are you really going to push me like this? I see it, Susie. Susie Humphrey, right? You're like, I got it. Lauren, I see you. Lauren Kane, you're like, yeah, let's do this, right? Jason, same thing. Like, let's just push you past that comfort zone. Let me ask you in life, think about this. Do you remember the times you had an idea and you're like, I want to invent this. I want to go in this business. I think it's amazing, right? And then you ask somebody you know, somebody who's totally unqualified. It's like asking your broke friend to help you with business or your single friend to fix your relationship, right? But like you had this idea, you knew you were going to do it. I'm going to take my coaching business, my life business, write the book, do the course, do the training. I got this invention, I'm going to do it. And you asked one person that was unqualified and like, it's not the right time, not the right president, online's too busy, you don't have time for that, that probably won't work. And it was just enough to invoke that inner self-doubt where you go, oh, maybe this wasn't the time. Maybe I shouldn't do this now. And what happened 3 years later? 2 years later, someone else was making a fortune with your idea, or that industry exploded, your intuition, your gut told you should, but you let other people who are unqualified and that inner self-doubt stop you, and that's what causes regret, and you feel left behind. That's not happening here. Let's not do that. That's why I want to anchor you guys. Let's play full out. Let's go for it. We're going to give you the tools, give you the energy, be here, and let's make it real. You guys ready for that? All right, let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, I covered all that. I got all my notes here. Some cool things. The main thing that you're going to get out of this are the capabilities to launch your personal brand, right? But we love to ethically ethically bribe you to action by taking uncomfortable action, by taking imperfect action. So every day, even today, we're giving away cool prizes today. We're going to give prizes to people we've seen already in the Facebook group playing full out. So we're going to give killer prizes like tickets to our World Summit that Tony and I are doing in October in his big round $5 million stadium. He spent like $5 million for this. Brian and Nicole, I see you there. What's up, guys? I saw you yesterday. Way to share. That was beautiful yesterday, Brian and Nicole. We're going to be going full out. And to bribe you to action, every day we're giving away killer prizes. So we'll let you know what the prizes are at the end of each day. We'll let you know who already won, those of you that have been playing full out. And what's it doing? We're just bribing you to action. Like, again, I want to share this. Tony just got done doing 5 days of Business Mastery. I worked with him all 5 days putting the event together. Literally, I slept 4 hours a night for the last 5 days. True story. And we pulled off the greatest business mastery in history. Impacted more lives, came into people's living rooms. We're here because we want to serve at this time in history when you need it, when the world needs it. So how do you pay us back? By playing full out. Not by dabbling, not by kind of listening. You know, don't sit on the Zoom like this. Like, stand up, be in your seat, be here, be present. Listen, if you were in front of Tony, I'm telling you right now, you wouldn't be down. He wouldn't even let you sit in your seat, right? So let's play full out. We're giving to you, give back to us simply. You know how you could pay us back? Go do this. Seriously, just go do it. Legit. Be a part of this community. Be a part of this world. So we're giving away some great training today, great prizes today and every day. Russell's coming on here soon, but I'm going to get right into training. We only got 5 days, so we can't let any grass grow under our feet. So I'm going to give you like a bigger 30,000-foot picture of how to start. Remember this, don't allow yourself to get overwhelmed. Like, judge the whole 5 days because we know how to ease you into this. If you get to a part and you go, I know this already, cool. If you get to a part and go, ooh, that seems heavy, cool. Just stick with us. We'll bring it around. And then Russell's going to go deeper and give you a framework. And when you're done, he's so brilliant with frameworks. It's incredible. So here's what I want to share. For those of you especially just getting to know me, I'm going to share a little bit of my story while I teach. So Johnny, could you come in here and adjust the camera for me? I want to go to the whiteboard. So when you start thinking about sharing your skill, your hobby, your passion, your expertise, that's good right there, Mike. That's perfect. When you start thinking about sharing that, who in here, if I just said right now, hey, I'm going to put you in front of 20 people right now, and you got to share something you're good with and make an impact on their life. Who in here, if you're really honest, if I gave it to you in 5 minutes right now, you'd be nervous, right? If you're in the chat, Facebook chat, yeah, I'd be nervous. Susie, I could see that nervous energy. I could feel it, right? But what if I told you by the end of today that'll go away forever? Because here's what I want to share. Think about these 3 words. All of us have had a struggle. All of us had to go through times when we were just surviving. Can we agree? We've had struggles in our lives. Sometimes we had to survive. But then what did we do to get out of it? We searched. So we had a struggle, and then we searched for the answer. We searched, maybe went to UPW and found the motivation to keep moving forward. Maybe we read a book, we got a mentor, we went to a workshop, we read something, or we just had an epiphany. We had a struggle, then we searched. And then what did we find? We found a solution, right? You went through a divorce, it was a struggle. You were searching for somebody to help you. I got to the lowest point ever, sad, trying to figure it out, but you gained capabilities, you gained momentum. And then you came out the other side and you started thriving again, and your kids started thriving. You're on the other side. You had the struggle, the search, then the solution, then the end result, right? When we can extract that, the struggle to find a career, you found it. You searched for the best way, then you mastered it. Those skills, whether it's your story, your mess that becomes your message, or your skill, hobby, passion, or expertise, that process is how we're doing it. But the problem where you get overwhelmed, the problem where confidence might be down is because we look at it too big. Like you think you got to tell your whole story and you got to teach all these things. And I'm not a doctor. I don't have initials after my name. I've never shared my brand, who I am with anybody else. Remember, the only person you're sharing with is you got to picture it's you of 5 years ago. It's you of 10 years ago. Right? What would it be worth to you to go spend a day with your 10-year-old younger self? Put it in the chat. What would it be worth if you could go spend a day and you could talk about how do you handle your thoughts, your emotions, maybe sales, how to build relationships, how to fix relationships, how to be more connected with the person you're with, how to make more money, how to slow down, how to stop judging, how to not let other people, like imagine the value of what that would be to spend that time. You have a capability inside of you right now that somebody is starting on day one and they need you. We are all ethically obligated to share what we know, whether that's parenting, whether that's, pull this up really quick. This is Sabine. Can you pull that up, Mike, on the slides? Look at this. This is Sabine, oh my God, Venberg. I hope I said that right. Venberg from Florida. She literally created a mastermind on how to be confident on camera. She shared from her heart. She's never done this before. She was a nervous wreck. She put it up on the software. She's already had, I think, 2 sales. She just got on the software 6 days ago. She's got 2 sales of people going, I'd like to learn from Sabine how to be better on camera because I suck, right? Like we think it's these really big, it's everything. We identified 4,500 different niches. And again, before I get to this, I kind of digress sometimes. But I want to share with you, for those of you that are new, that this industry of building your own brand, of sharing your capabilities and sharing your knowledge, is one of the fastest growing industries in the world. It's been around forever. Self-education has been around forever, right? I mean, Tony's been in this industry 40 plus years and he didn't start it, right? But it's never been so viable. Right? When I started, I had to do an infomercial. When Tony started, I had to do an infomercial and pay big money so people could see us. Or we sent smoke signals or carrier pigeon. I mean, that's how long ago we started, right? Now we have the opportunity to communicate with people immediately and we can identify our ideal client, all the stuff you're going to learn, right? This is an industry that's exponentially growing. I think it's at $350 billion a day, like crazy numbers right now. Right? 350 billion a year. It's like insane numbers. One of the fastest growing, give me the stats on that, Mike, because I forget, but it's one of the fastest growing industries in the world. Why? Because people are saying, I don't want to go back to college to gain a new skill. That's not working for anyone. I'm just being honest. The schools haven't kept up with an exponentially growing world. So I don't want to go back to school and hopefully get a job. I don't want to learn through my own trial and error. I want to learn from somebody who's already been there. And that's why mastermind.com and the software and this industry is exploding. My daughter right now is, Anthony might be on here right now. My daughter went on mastermind.com and chose a $47 art, she loves art class with a guy, Anthony, who's just put it up for the first time. And we weren't his only sale. My daughter is taking the second lesson or first lesson this Wednesday. It's where the world's going, right? Like, I don't know about your kids. My kids are home online doing school right now. And my son said to me 3 days ago, I don't have to go to school. I just go to mastermind.com and I'll pick the courses I want. I'm like, oh my God, thank you. Like, I would let him get out of school and let him do that. But that's where the world's going. And remember, again, I'm digressing, but this wave, I'm not going to talk about the industry after today. I just want to anchor this in so nobody thinks this is just a flash in the pan or something that could be here or not. This is a wave that's not going away, and that wave is coming in huge. 2/3 of the world is home, and they're online searching for regular people to teach them what they know so they don't have to figure it out on their own. And when a wave comes in, if you're a surfer, you can either be in front of that wave and that momentum pushes you all the way to shore, or you can think and hesitate and go, should I? Maybe. Am I the right person? I'm not really that smart, or maybe I don't have schooling, and the wave goes by you. And what does a surfer do when the wave goes by and they try to catch it, right? They're going, you never get the wave. Like, this is being in front of this wave. So it's an amazing industry. It's the perfect time in history. You're more than qualified, and we're going to show you that. And you got me, Tony, and Russell for the next 5 days to show you how to do it. You guys ready? You guys ready for this? All right, let's do it. So what I'm going to take over the next 10 minutes, and I'm going to bring Russell in, is I want to show you the process to start gaining the confidence. Now, I want to tell you, 25 years ago, I watched an infomercial with Tony Robbins. I felt like he was talking directly to me. I bought the course and it changed my life. He's my dear friend, my brother, but that's what it was 25 years ago. He was just this big guy on TV, I think, with Tom Selleck, right? And I bought this course, and it course corrected me. I was already on my way to be successful, but I was all jacked up in here. Not that any of you have ever had stuff going on in here that wasn't perfect, but I was a little off, right? Don't laugh at me, Danielle. I see you. I got that course, it changed everything. It changed my life so much that within 2 years, I built my own course. And I produced an infomercial because there was no internet, and I wanted to be in the self-education industry. Now, I had someone lend me all the money. I was perfectly confident. I had gone to college for that. No, I didn't have any of that. I borrowed credit card money to pay for the infomercial. I was scared to death because I barely got out of high school. I had no money. My whole family thought I was nuts. I tell the story. My sister drove from Virginia to sit down with me to have an intervention, basically like I was like on drugs, to say, okay, enough. You did good. You got to your point with your collision shop and your auto sales and your apartments, but now you're done. It's over. You're a dreamer. You're going to lose everything. Stop it, right? Like that's how crazy it was that I wanted to go into this business. And here's the crazy part. Like my sister said, you're going to teach. You hated school. You barely got out of high school. You have dyslexia. But here's what I want to share with you. My first course was teaching people how to make money with used cars. Now, if you think your niche is stupid or crazy or like unique, I don't mean stupid. Like, I felt stupid at first trying to teach people how to sell used cars, right? But that's what I knew at the time. I knew cars and real estate, and I knew a way. I didn't know every way to sell a car, but I found a unique way when I was broke to find people that wanted to sell a car and people wanted to buy a car, and I'd match them up, make money in the middle. So I want to share this with you. It was crazy to think. I named it Motor Millions. Yes, that's cheesy. Unbelievably cheesy. Had no idea what I was doing. Didn't have the internet. Didn't have a guide. Didn't have a 5-day challenge. All I had was an infomercial I bought from Tony Robbins that motivated me, and I wanted to do the same thing. But what I realized, where I gained my confidence, is if I was trying to market to 7 billion people, I'd be like, oh, that won't work. But I wasn't. I was just looking for people that were interested in doing something on the side to make extra money, and it got smaller. Then I was looking for people that maybe wanted to do something making money with cars, right? Maybe someone was handy with cars or always loved cars. So it got smaller. And then I realized I don't want to teach people how to be a car dealer. I'm just teaching this unique strategy that I know how to match buyers and sellers. And here's the cool part. That's all I looked for. When I got down to that small little dot, my confidence went through the roof because listen, if people already had a car dealership and they wanted to know how to do 2 car dealerships, they shouldn't come to me. I had no clue. But if someone had never sold a car and would like a way to flip one without using money, man, I was really cool with that. When I branched out into real estate, if you were looking to buy multi-family homes and buy thousands of them, my real estate course wouldn't have worked. That's not what I knew. What I did know at the time when I launched my first real estate course, I had done about 30 deals. But the person who had never done a deal before and I had done 30, I was the absolute expert because I could show them how to get in their first deal with no high school or no college education, with dyslexia, not the best teacher, scared to death when I walked in the room to train them. But I still knew more than they did. And the more I shared, the more I realized, oh my God, I've learned so much through my own trial and error, right? So those days have changed. It's not 20-something years ago. It's now where we have access to our ideal clients. But I want to give you another little break and another little example here. We have some great people as a part of our community, our mastermind community. A lot of you are in that. The software opens today to the world. Hundreds of sales have already happened and we didn't open to the world yet. Today, Mastermind Marketplace opens to the world. But I was on the phone. We were on a training like this last week. There was an amazing woman that came on. I won't share her name. Amazing woman come on, and she's like, she wanted to share because I don't know if this has happened to any of the ladies here, but she said this was more of her being her message, not necessarily a skill, a habit, or a hobby. She said she was a mom, full-time job, and a wife. And she said those three things, she let them become who she was. And she lost inner self-confidence. She lost inner sexiness. She lost inner love, inner passion. And she felt like a robot, being a good wife, being a good mom, being good at work. And she said she lost herself. I got goosebumps. She lost herself in that. And she went through depression and was sad and didn't see a way out. And then all of a sudden, that was her struggle. And then she started searching. And she found some coaching. She found some books. She found some education. She started shifting her mind, shifting her thoughts, shifting time, making herself priority. She started, I don't know if you can see the goosebumps on my hair, started loving herself on the inside. And she turned her entire life around. And now she's on, you could see it, she's glowing. And so what is she doing? She's helping. Is she helping the whole world with her course? No, because that's scary. Is she helping just women? No. Is she helping women who are just moms? No. She's helping moms who have a job and are married and trying to juggle it all that want more self-love. That's a little tiny dot. When she taught that and talked about it, her confidence went through the roof. But here's the cool part in today's world. That dot is enormous. That's millions of people. There could be a dot within that dot, and it's still millions of people. Do you see how the confidence grows? As the smaller the niche, the more your confidence grows to realize that this is what you can do, right? Listen, I'm going to tell one more example, then I'm going to bring Russell up here to grab and give you some great framework. But think about this. My wife, and if any of you guys follow me, I'm married to the love of my life. She's amazing. I'm so proud of her in every way. We have our 5-month-old baby, Luca, and she's just a badass, for lack of a better word. And she has her own business. She was voted the top hairstylist in Arizona 10 years in a row before I ever even met her. Anyway, as she got to know me and what I do and how I'm obsessed with creating courses and masterminds and self-education and building your own brand, I'm like, babe, it's time to build your own brand and give back. She's like, oh, babe, I don't know if I want to do that. That would make me nervous. I don't know what I could teach. I'm not sure what I'm good at. You know, a lot of us feel that way. Like, that's for you. That's for experts. That's for people who went to college for that. So I was listening. I'm like, okay. So I did this exercise with her. And because she's my wife and because I know her so well, I watched her confidence go up until she was like, oh yeah, I want to do this right now. Like, when can I do my first one? She actually had her first event scheduled when COVID came, and then we had to cancel, and then she had a baby, so now we're rescheduled virtually in a couple weeks, and everything's done virtually now, right? But think about this, is what I did with her. I said, babe, you're thinking you got to train 7 billion people. That's pretty overwhelming. I said, you may even think you want to train in here, it's just the beauty industry. She's like, yeah, that's just, I could see her like, yeah, I don't. And then I said, no, it's not the beauty industry, it's the hair industry. She's like, yeah, I've done pretty good in the hair industry. I'm like, no. But you're not great at blow drying. Like, you are, but that's not your thing. That's like dry bar, right? You're great at extensions. She's like, yeah, And I said, tell me why you love extensions. She's like, oh my God, I love when women come in and I can make them look more beautiful, especially if their hair's thinning after babies and all the things that happen. I can make them look beautiful and feel alive, and they leave there with their confidence through the roof, and I know it lights her up. So I watch her. She gets in her zone and she's passionate and she's talking about making women beautiful. Now she's on fire. She's got goosebumps. And she's like, okay, I see. I said, but do you just do extensions? And she's like, no, I do one kind of extension that I know it's the best. It doesn't hurt the hair. It doesn't hurt when it's in. It looks beautiful. I said, okay, so you're not 7 billion people, not the beauty industry, not the hair industry, not even the extension industry. Could you teach people how to do the one extensions that you do that has allowed you to make 10 times more than the average hairstylist in America? Literally, she's 10 times more than the average. Allowed you to be the #1 hairstylist in Arizona, and you feel fulfilled. Could you teach that? She's like, oh my God, when can we do it? Like, my wife gets excited. She's like, when can we do it? When can we do it? Right? So I want you to think through that lens. Is the only reason you might feel like, I don't know if I could build my own brand, I don't know if I could teach, is because you might be thinking this ring, you could even be thinking this ring, even this one. But when you go the dot inside that dot and you go, oh, I could teach that one thing. I could teach someone how to match a buyer and a seller for a car. I'll do that all day. I can teach somebody how to get in their first real estate deal. I'll do that all day. I'll teach someone how to eat better, play football, do like anything, be a coach, be a life coach. I mean, everything, 4,600 different niches, anything you can think of. There's somebody starting on day one. Not somebody, in most cases, millions. So when you unlock it, you're unlocking your currency, and the world is ready to buy it. You guys like that? Does that make sense, guys? This is just the start now. If you're feeling a little overwhelmed, Mike, I'm going to come back over. So what I'd love to do right now is, if he's ready for me, I'd love to bring on, hold on, before I do that though, I want to come back over here. Again, guys, before I bring on Mr. Russell Brunson, who's going to light it up for you, and let's give it up for him. Let's give him just a warm welcome for being here when he comes out. I want you to remember, everything we share, if it feels a little big, give it time. Just let it sink in. Take notes, right? If it feels a little behind, I've been there. That's great. Fine tune what you've already done. Listen, the only people who don't make it are the ones that give up before the finish line. And how many people do we know give up on the 5-yard line? Let's not do that this time. I know you're taking time with being with us. We're taking our time, but you're taking your time. We don't take it lightly. So get the questions answered you want. Thank you for all the amazing comments. I'm going to go read them while I'm waiting for Russell. So Russell's going to give you a framework, then Tony will be on, then we're going to give you your challenges for tonight to take your uncomfortable action. We're going to give a challenge for those of you that are in the software and those of you that aren't in the software. And remember, we're going to show you a 5-minute training tonight on how to start building this tonight, today, in your software. So without further ado, I hope he's standing by through the magic of technology. Can we give it up for Mr. Russell Brunson? All right, Russell, you here? Mike, we got Russell.
All right. Thank heavens the technology worked on this. We're always a little bit nervous. So before I get started, if you guys can hear me, wave your hands around so I can make sure that we are all right. Okay, I'm so excited. I'm streaming here from Boise, Idaho, and thank Dean so much for his initial presentation, which was amazing. He walked through such a powerful principle and concept, you guys. It's helping you identify exactly who it is that you are going to be serving, who you're going to be helping through this process, okay? And so the next phase that I want to walk you guys sorry, I heard Dean talking through there. So the next phase that I want to take you guys through is now that you know exactly, okay, who is it you're going to be trying to serve? Like, what does that person look like, right? Who's that market? The next question is like, okay, well, how do I help them? Like, what's the process? Like, what do I do now, right? If you know, like, hey, I want to help people with hair extensions. I don't want to help people with this thing, like, how do we actually help them? This is where so many people get stuck. This is where I got stuck for a long time as well. And so I want to walk you through a really quick process to help you to figure out what is your framework? What's the framework you're going to create to help somebody so you can change their life, okay? And so to start off with, I'm going to start on the whiteboard over here because my guess is you've been through this process a ton of times. And I want you to be aware of it first. And I'm going to show you guys how, after you're aware of it, how you can start replicating it for yourself as well. Okay. So how many times have you been in your life where this is you, right? Y-O-U. And you're sitting here and you're like, I want a certain result. Okay. And the result could be anything. I want to learn how to do this thing. I've got cavities on my teeth drill. I want to be able to get a degree. I want to be able to make more money. I want to be able to lose weight. Like, you have a result you want, right? Think about right now an example of your life. Like, what was the result that you wanted? Okay. My guess is the fact you guys are all here today. Maybe you had a result that you wanted to build your own brand, right? So figure out a result you had, right? Then you went on this, you saw this journey. You're like, this is the thing I want. And up here, this was the result, right? Okay, so you're like, okay, this is where I am. That's the result, but there's this big far distance, right? Like, how am I going to figure this out? And what some people do is they go start wandering and start looking around and try, hopefully bump into something, right? But it's the hard way to do it. So instead, what do? Instead, we say, well, who do I know? Who can I find? Who's already gotten that result in the past, right? Who already has a framework, a process, a system or something to get that result, okay? And so you find that person, and that person is right here, okay? So this person becomes, I'm gonna write your guide. This person's your guide. And this person's like, hey, this is the deal. I've been on this journey. I know how to get this result. It's really, really simple. In fact, I made my own framework to walk you through the process, okay? So this guide has a framework saying, here's all the steps to go and get this result, okay? You find that guide, you're like, cool. So guide, take me on the step, like, show me what to do. And so the guide then goes through this process, takes their proven framework, right? So, okay, let's go on this journey together. Step number 1 is this. Step number 2, step number 3, step number 4, step number 5. And at the end of it, guess what happens? You end up here. There's you, and there's the guide, and that person, sorry, I'm not the best doodler ever, that person gets you the result, okay? So how many times have you guys done that in your life, okay? Think about in all aspects of your life. Like, if you went to college, you're like, I want a degree to help me to become a dentist or a chiropractor or fill in the blank, whatever you do, right? So what'd you do? You found somebody who had the framework, maybe a school education system, a mentor, and they took you on this process, right? Maybe you wanted a house. I want to build a house. That's the result I want. What do? You find a contractor who has the frameworks to build a house. You hire that person, and then they get you the result you're looking for, okay? So you've done this over and over and over again. In fact, you guys are here today because of the same process, right? You saw this result. I want to build my own brand. You registered. Me, Dean, and Tony are your guides. We've got frameworks. We're going to take you on this process. Okay, so I want you to first see is that's how frameworks work, okay? But in this challenge, we're gonna be shifting things around a little bit. Instead of you going on this process, you are gonna become the guide for somebody else. And that is the big secret, that's the big aha, okay? So when you start thinking about this person, Dean did such a good job earlier walking you through this process, right? So this is your dream customer. Okay, this is the person that you feel like you've been called to serve. Okay, you took the entire world. I'll draw Dean's thing all the way down to this thing. And this is that person. There's the person you've been called to serve. Okay, what's that person looking for? That person is looking for some kind of result that you've probably gotten in the past, right? And so your job then is say, okay, you've already taken this journey, right? You're already up here. You're like, I've already gotten that result. I'm really good at it. I've gotten it over and over and over again. Like, I'm good at that result. In fact, when I did it the very first time, I created a path. Like, I created a map. Okay. You have a treasure map, and here's the treasure map that leads to gold, right? Your treasure map is a framework. And so what we're doing now, what the call to action for you guys to do over this 5 days is for you to say, okay, what are the results? What are the things you're already good at? What do you already know? And now we're going to come off down the mountain. We're going to come back down here, and you're going to become the guide. And you're going to take this person, and you're going to take them on this journey. You're going to give them the framework. Step 1, we're going to do this. Step 2, step 3, step 4. And you take the person on the journey with you to get the same result you've gotten in the past. Okay. And that's kind of it, you guys. That's the big secret, the big aha. Okay. And so my goal for you guys to understand is that one of your biggest job is to become someone who's a framework creator, someone who's creating frameworks, creating systems, creating processes to take people on a journey to get them a certain result. Okay. And that's kind of the big aha. So I've created some slides to kind of go through this with you guys. But the first thing, and I want you to understand, like, the people who create the frameworks are the people who make the most money in this business. Okay. Becoming a framework creator. So my very first slide here says your job is to become a framework creator. Okay, so start thinking about this a little differently. Like, what is the framework that you use to get a certain result? Okay, now some of you guys have heard my story. If you came from my world, if you haven't, the very first product I ever created was a DVD teaching people how to make potato guns. Okay, and yes, that's a real thing. I'm here in Boise, Idaho. This is the actual DVD that we used to sell. It's no longer available unless you guys want me to. Maybe I'll put it in the mastermind marketplace. Oh, I should totally do that. Okay, this will be in there soon. And what this DVD does is teaches you how to make something called a potato gun, which looks like this. So if those are my Idahoans, you know how this works. You grab a potato, you jam it. Oh, this one's not been glued together yet. You jam up the potato down this pipe here, you fill this full of hairspray, and there's a little igniter, you spark it, and it shoots a potato about 100 yards. So this is a potato gun, and that's my DVD teaching people how to make potato guns, okay? My very first product I ever created, I created while I was in, about to drop that again. I created while I was in college. And when we did this, what happened, my buddy and I went and we spent a whole weekend building a bunch of potato guns. I was like, this is amazing. I wonder if anybody else wants to learn how to make potato guns. And so what we did is I didn't have money at the time for a video camera. So I went and borrowed a video camera from a friend. My friend and I went down to Boise State University, just down the road here. We walked on a Saturday, snuck into one of the classrooms. On the whiteboard, on the board, we listed out, here's the framework for how you build a potato gun. This is a screenshot from the DVD, okay? Here's the actual framework for how you build a potato gun. And we got a video and we taught the framework. Here's what you do. Here's step 1, step 2, step 3. And that became my very first product I ever had. Okay. And so all I was a framework creator teaching the framework for how to actually build a potato gun. Okay. I know it's kind of a dorky example, but I want to share it because that was my very first product I ever created. Dean's very first product was how to flip cars, right? Mine was how to make a potato gun. So yours is going to be something as well. Okay. It doesn't have to be, sometimes people wait because they're like, I'm going to wait till my big idea comes. And it's like, no, you just got to what's the result you can get somebody? Can you help people? Can you help someone to run faster, jump higher? Can you help somebody to, what's the result you can get? That can be a product. That can be a framework you create very, very quickly. Okay. Okay. So in my next 15 or 20 minutes or so, I want to walk you guys through a process. Okay. And we're talking about frameworks, but a lot of times people get the concept. Okay. I'm going to build a framework. Step 1, 2, 3. You kind of build a framework. But a lot of times it's like, well, how do I actually teach that framework? Okay. So I'm going to show you guys, this is my framework for how to teach frameworks. Okay. And so I'm gonna walk you through this process right here. So this is kind of like one of those inception things, like a dream inside of a dream. Okay. But bear with me because it's going to help you guys understand how you're actually going to teach this in a way that not just you're going to give someone information, but you can actually give them a transformation, which is so much more important. Okay. All right, so the very first step in this framework for how to teach frameworks, actually, before I tell you that step, I want to tell you guys my very first mistake that I made when I first started doing this. And this is important for you because I guarantee you're going to make the exact same mistake that I did. Okay, so I remember I spent about 2 years in the internet business learning how to start businesses and how to grow them online and how to scale them. And during that time, I became obsessed with the education side, like you guys are, right? And I started buying every single course, every product I could find. I went to every event. I think in the first 2 years, I spent almost $250,000 in courses and products and live events. Okay, every penny I made got dumped back into some kind of product or some training because I was obsessed and learning all the information that was coming, right? I was learning all this stuff and I was applying it. I was trying it on my potato gun business, and I had other businesses afterwards, and I was applying these things. And I remember I spent hours, thousands of hours of blood, sweat, and toils figuring out how to be successful with this internet thing. And one day I got a call from a friend. And he said, hey, I'm doing this internet marketing seminar thing. Do you want to come teach what you do at it? And I was like, I never thought about teaching. I did it. I love doing it, but I never taught it before. And I was like, I don't know how to teach it. He's like, just come teach people what you do. And I was like, okay. So this is the picture of me at my very first internet marketing event. Back then I had a shaved head, glasses, and I always wore a tie because I thought that's what business people had to do. And I was at this event teaching my framework. I remember getting out and say, okay, hi everybody. And I was so awkward back then. I'm like, okay, let me teach you what I do. Step number 1. I started teaching step number 1. I teach step number 2, step number 3. I went through my entire framework for how to be successful online. And I'm teaching this stuff. And I remember thinking this is the best stuff I have. This is if people understood what they were getting, they would be blown away. But I remember looking in the audience and it was just like crickets. Some guys asleep in the side. Some of the ladies are passed out. Everyone's talking. And I was just they're not understanding what I'm giving them. I remember I got done. I was my presentation got done. I was just that just didn't feel right. I don't think these people understood what was happening. And, but I tried my best. And then I remember I got invited a couple weeks later to another event, and someone invited me back and said, we want to come teach again. I said, okay. So I came back, I did the same thing, got my outline. I started teaching, okay, step number 1, step number 2. And I started going through my framework, right? Going through my system. And I got done, same thing, looking around, half the audience asleep, half the people walked out in the middle of it. I remember being so frustrated. I'm like, do they understand what I'm giving them? And I was like, oh. And then I ended. And I got invited to my third event. And this third event, I was like, okay, this time they're going to understand it. They're going to move. I'm going to change their life. I was so excited. I sat down. I started telling the stories. I started teaching again. And within 2 or 3 steps down the bullet point, I look and people are falling asleep, people walking out. I remember getting so upset. How many of you have ever felt this before? I feel like, the Bible talks about casting your pearls before swine. I felt like that's what I was doing. If they understood what I went through, I remember I got so mad, I slammed my hand on the table. And everyone kind of stopped. I said, do you guys understand what I went through to learn this stuff for you? Let me tell you. I started going through the story about how I learned and how I earned all this stuff. I walked through the first thing I did, the second thing I did, the third thing, how much money I spent, what events I went to, how much money I spent to develop this one little tactic and what I had to figure out and how hard it was and how I almost went bankrupt twice because I was trying to figure out these things for them. And I told the whole story about how I learned or I earned it. And as I tell this story, everyone's eyes get this big and they're all paying attention. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have their attention. And then I started teaching the framework. And this time it was different. Nobody got up, nobody left, everyone was taking notes, and it shifted everything, okay? And so instead of me just going and teaching, the very first thing I did was actually the first step in the framework, okay? I didn't just go and start teaching my framework. The first thing I did is I tell them the story about how I learned it or I earned it, okay? Now, earned it means your experience. It's the things you went through, and learned it means your knowledge. So if you learned, you read, you studied, and you figured out. Okay, so the first step in any framework before you teach it is you have to tell the story about how you learned it. Okay, again, this is the framework here. Step number one is how you learned, you earned it. Okay, now I want to stop and pause for a second. You guys probably noticed this, but I'm practicing when I preach, right? I shared you my framework. What was the very first thing I did? I told you guys the process of how I learned and I earned it, right? If I started going through my 4-step framework for how to teach frameworks, you guys would have been bored out of your mind. But instead, I told you the story about my failure and what I tried and how it worked and all this stuff. And now you guys are more interested. Now I've got your attention. Okay, so the first step is telling the story about how you learned it or you earned it. That's step number one. You guys got that? Does that make sense to everybody? If you got that, raise your hands around so I can see it. All right, number one. Okay, you have to understand, you guys, without the story, nobody's going to buy into your strategy. And that's step number two. Without the story, no one's going to buy into your strategy. Okay, so I told my story. Now I have your attention to tell you about the strategy. So if my strategy for today is I'm going to teach you guys the framework on how to teach frameworks. Okay, so that's my strategy. Okay, so now move to step number two. Step number two now is the strategy. Okay, the strategy is an overview of your framework. Okay, it's okay. If we're going to build this house, first thing we're going to get the concrete in, then we got to frame the house, then we got to do this, we got to do this, and like here's the overarching system, right? The framework is like if I was to whiteboard this out for you, that's what it would look like. Okay, the strategy is the what you're going to be doing. Okay, if I was going to go to war, I wouldn't just go and have if I was a general, I would have a whole bunch of soldiers and be like, okay, this is where you're going to go, and like, tell people where to go. They're like, wait, what? Like, why am I going over here? Like, what's the point of this? Okay, the first step is not to give them the tactics. The first step is to step back and say, okay, here's the strategy. This is what we're doing and why we're doing it. Okay, I help understand that, and they say, okay, and then they buy into the strategy. Okay, that makes sense. Then when I shift to the tactics, now they're willing to go do anything I tell them because they understand the strategy of where they're going. Okay, so the strategy, once again, is the what. Okay, so I'm going to tell them the strategy. Here's an overview of what I'm talking about. Okay, so for me, in this framework I gave you guys the strategy. Okay, step number one is story, how we learned to earn it. Step number two, I'm going to go into the strategy. Step number three, we're going to move into the tactics. And step number four, we talk about social proof. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys my framework. That's step number two. This is this strategy. This is where we're going. Does that make sense? Okay, and again, in this process here, it's a strategy. So you look here, number one, I told you the story about how I learned it or I earned it. Number two, then I showed you here's the framework, here's the strategy, what we're going to do. Now, after I've showed them the strategy, now they'll buy into the tactics. Okay, the tactics, now for most of you guys in this circumstance we're talking about, this is where we go into like, here's how you do all the things. Okay, so step number three now, here's where you finally start teaching the tactics. Okay, and the tactics are, okay, let me show you what we're gonna do. Step number one, we're gonna do this. Step number two, step number three, step number four. Okay, if you've ever bought my course or Dean's course or Tony's course or anybody's course before, you've probably seen this, right? Most courses are teaching the tactics. Okay, the courses you remember, the courses that have transformed you, they start with the first two things we talked about. They don't just lead right here. Most people just lead with the tactics. This is where they're going directly. Okay, we're stepping back. Number one, how do we learn and we earn it? Okay, number two, here's the overarching strategy, where we're going. And now we're getting into, okay, now I'm going to show you the tactics, okay? These are all important. If you don't set up each of these pieces and show them each individually, then you miss people all along. Does that make sense? Okay, so this is the actual tactics. This is all the little pieces that kind of go in there, okay? All right, so again, number one, there's tactics, okay? So number one, the story about how you learned it, you earned it. Hopefully, I'm repeating this multiple times because I want you to get inside your guys' mind over and over and over again. Okay, when I teach, anytime I teach anything, I literally have this little picture on my computer right next to me. Because even me, I default to the same thing. I jump in, I get excited, I start going about the tactics. And I'm like, hold on, let me step back. Let me explain to you where this came from first. Tell the story. Then I show them the overview. This is where we're going. This is the strategy. Okay, now let's get into the tactics. Step number one, step number two, step number three. And I walk them through this entire process, okay? All right, so that's the third step. Now we move on to the fourth and last step here inside the framework. And the fourth step then is giving them social proof that it's going to work for them as well. Okay? There's this weird thing you're going to find is a lot of times, as soon as you start publishing, you start putting products out there and courses out there, people are going to look at you and say, well, that's awesome. Because, of course, Tony can do it. Like, Tony's 6'7", like, of course, it works for him. Or, of course, Dean can do it. Dean's been doing this for 20 years on infomercials. Of course, Russell can do it. Looks like he's 11 years old, for crying out loud. Of course, he can do it, right? Like, everyone's got to think. And they're going to say the same thing about you. And you're going to be like, wait, me? Like, I'm just a normal person. Okay. But for whatever reason, because you're positioning yourself and you're showing them like you're the one that is this guide, if you are taking this, they're always going to be skeptical initially. So your job is to come back and say, okay, well, I've let me show you other people I've taken on this path. Okay. I took so-and-so on the path and so-and-so on the path. And here's other people I've taken on this path before. Okay. So step number 4 is you have to show case studies, proofs, and examples. Okay. And so this is an example right here. This is Stacy Martino. And Stacy's our special guest tomorrow. You guys excited to meet her? Stacey's actually sitting right there and she's freaking out. But she's going to be here tomorrow to walk you through this. Now, I'm going to tell you guys just a little bit of her story to pre-frame this for tomorrow and get you excited. Okay. So Stacy has gone through this process. Okay. She's about 10 years ahead of where all you guys are right now. Okay. And again, I'm not going to ruin her story, but she went through a process. She figured out a bunch of frameworks and she's going to walk you through a couple of frameworks. One of her frameworks she's going to share with you tomorrow will blow your mind, but she's created a whole bunch of frameworks that help people in their marriages. Okay. Her and her husband have created this company. They've saved over 10,000 marriages. Okay. So they went initially themselves. They went on this thing and they got this result for themselves. Okay. Then they came back down and started helping other people. Now they've helped 10,000 people get this result over and over and over and over again. And they have frameworks to take people through every single step. Okay. Inside their program, they have less than a 1% divorce rate, which is insane. Okay. And so what's cool is that Stacy's been on this path before. She's been doing this for the last decade. She's gonna come tomorrow. She's gonna show you guys, look, everything that Russell and Dean are talking about, I just finished this and let me show you what happened. Okay. And they went through and she's gonna follow, like, she's gonna show you guys, here's the frameworks we created. Here's how we move people from here to here, like the entire process. Okay. And so I'm gonna have her come tomorrow to teach that so you guys can see. This is an example of someone who has taken their results, taken the things they've had, figured out the frameworks to create, gone back in time, and then gone and built a framework and brought people to success. Okay. And it's important you have these case studies because without a case studies, they're not going to actually believe your framework. Okay. And so that's why it's so important. Now, some of you guys might be thinking, Russell, what if I don't have case studies yet? I'm just getting started right now. I'm trying to help people, but I don't know. Like I did it for myself. I went on this path. Like I've gotten the result for myself, but I haven't got it for anybody else. What should I do? I always tell people, if you haven't done it for anybody else yet, this is your time to potentially not go start selling things right away, but be a servant. Okay. When I'm creating a new product, every time I create a new product or service, the very first time I do it, I go live. Okay. And I bring people in. A lot of times we do it for free. Even I'll bring people in for free. I say, okay, I'm creating a new course. I want to go live with you guys together and I'm going to teach you my frameworks. And I'm doing this because I want you to go through them and get the same result. I want to take you guys on this journey. I want to give you this result. And after you have that result, I want to be able to share it with other people. Okay. And usually they always say, sure, I would love that. And you let them come in, you go through that whole process, you give them a result. And then after you get the result, now you have these different case studies. Okay. And I'm not going to go deep in that strategy. We'll talk more about that throughout the week. But one of the cool things about the Mastermind platform is you have the ability to actually go live. So if you don't have a course yet, you can go in there and get a bunch of people, have them come in and record yourself actually going through a process. And when it's done, this framework that you taught a bunch of people will be in the members area, and they have case studies on the other side you can use to sell it and to further the training. So we'll get deeper into that. But I wanted to kind of just put that out there for anyone who's like, I don't have results, I don't have success stories. That's okay. Go and work for free initially. Okay, I did the exact same thing. When I started the coaching side of my business here, I had done it for myself. I built businesses for myself over and over and over again. I remember I wanted to start kind of coaching other people through it. And I thought, the worst thing to do would for me to go and put up a website and be like, hey, my name's Russell Brunson. I'm amazing. You should give me some money, right? Like, that just feels dirty and like, I don't like it. And so I was like, well, I got to find somebody that is my dream customer, right? I need to find the person that's in this hole right here. And how would I find one person that I can help and I can serve and just to prove that my frameworks work for other people? Right. And so for me, I found this guy named Drew Canoli. He had a really cool company. And I called him up. I was like, hey, can I come work for you for free? And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, I have a bunch of frameworks that made me a bunch of money. I think they're going to work for you, but I don't really know. Can I just come work for you for free? And he's like, well, what's the catch? I'm like, I just want to see if this stuff works. He's like, there's got to be a catch. I'm like, no, there's literally no catch. So finally, he's like, all right, if you want to come work for me for free, go for it. So I flew out to his office. I spent time with him and his team, and I walked them through my frameworks. I said, here's the first framework. The second, I walked them through everything. We applied it to their business. Their business had a ton of success, and I didn't take a penny off it ever. Okay, but when it was done, guess what Drew did? He made me some videos saying, hey, Russell came in. Let me show you what he did. Let me show you the results, right? And now I have those success stories. Now I have those case studies. And when I launched my coaching program, it wasn't a video of me talking how great I was. It was me saying, hey, look at this video of Drew talking about how the frameworks that I shared with him, how it got him the same result that it got me. Okay, so I can get it for myself. I got it for other people. I can get it for you as well. Does that make sense? So that's kind of why we're putting these things together. Okay, are you guys getting this? Or make sure this is all making sense. Okay, so I'm gonna walk you through the process again, okay? This is my framework for teaching frameworks. It's not difficult, okay? But it's so important to understand this. So number one is you gotta get back to like, what's the story about how you learned or you earned your framework, okay? So start thinking about this. You already went on this journey once, right? You got this result for yourself. Tell us the story. How hard was it? What did you have to learn? What did you have to earn? Like, what were the pain? Like, what are the blood, sweat, and tears you put in it to get that result for yourself? If you don't tell me, I'm not gonna care about your framework. Okay, tell me that story. And the better you tell it, the more excited I'm going to be to follow you on that journey as well. Okay, Wednesday, day 3 of this training, I'm going to be showing you guys my story framework. So I'm really excited to share with you guys. So we'll get deeper into story, but understand, like, you've got to tell the story. That's number 1. Okay, now after you told that story about how you got the result, and people are like, oh my gosh, that's amazing, right? They're down here around the campfire, hearing you tell that story. They're like, okay, I want to go on this journey with you. Okay, before we start on this journey, let me walk you through the strategy and walk you through what these steps look like. Okay, that's when we introduce the strategy. Okay, here's my frameworks. This is what we're going to go through. Okay, you guys good with that? That's where we're going to go. I want to make sure you believe in that, because if you don't believe in this is the right path, if you don't believe this is the right framework, you're not going to be successful. But if you agree with, like, this is like, okay, that makes sense, I'm in, right? If they agree with the framework, then they're in. Now you can move on to step number 3, which is now here's where we get to work. Okay, let's do the tactics. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Now you start taking them on this journey. But because they've heard the story, they're going to keep moving. Because they believe in the framework, they bought in the framework, they're going to believe you, right? And now they're going to put in the work that they need to do to get the result. Okay, and like I said, the last step is after you've taken some of that journey, they've gotten the result, now you can share that story with the next person, and the next person, and the next person. You can keep bringing people up, keep changing their lives. Okay, so that's my framework on how to teach frameworks. And I want to share that with you guys because so many times people are like, they just teach to teach, right? I don't know about you, but I went to school, I went to college, and there are some amazing teachers out there. Some teachers that changed my life, right? But so many teachers come up there, they open the textbook and they start reading, right? They're going through the tactics, and half the kids are asleep. No one's really getting changed. No one's having the transformation they want, right? When you learn how to teach this way, right, where you go through a process, you tell them the story, how you learned it, you earned it, you show them your strategy, you show them the tactics, you give them results, then not only are you going to have, you're not only going to become a better teacher, you're going to be able to give people what you really want, which is giving them a transformation. And that's the goal. That's the process. That's why we're doing all this stuff. Okay. We get in the transformation. That's when you get more customers. That's when you change life. Like, it feels so good. Okay. As much fun as this for you to, like, whenever you did this, the very first time you did this and you got the result for yourself, I promise you, like, this is amazing. And you thought it was awesome, right? Okay. But I guarantee you there's something even better than that. The first time you get somebody else to get that result and you give them that transformation, it always feels better. Okay. And I can't wait to have you experience that and see that. Okay. My wife recently started a podcast, and my wife is very introverted, did not want to do this, like, was totally against it. And they did the first episode. She came home like, I hate this. I never want to do podcasts again. She did the next one. This is the worst thing ever. And next one. And then one day, about 2 or 3 months into it, we were at some event, and someone came up to her with tears in her face and said, hey, that podcast you guys did, episode 6, whatever, it changed my life. And my wife, like, her eyes swelling up, and she come back to me. She's like, someone just told me that what we created changed their life. It doesn't make any sense. Like it wasn't hard for me. It was easy. I had done that over and over and over again. But for that person, it changed their life. It transformed them. And that's the gift we want to give you guys, okay? The money is awesome. The branding is awesome. All those things are cool. But the reason why I do it, the reason why Dean does it, the reason why Tony does it, the reason why Stacy does it, you find out tomorrow, is because when you give someone else that transformation, there's nothing in this world that feels better than that. And you will get addicted to it. And you want to do it over and over and over again. And so the better you become at teaching your frameworks, the better you are simplifying, the better you are making them easier for people, the more transformation you can have on them and their lives. So that's kind of the main thing I want to teach on today. And with that said, I think we're going to bring Dean back on and kind of set up the next little bit. We've got, Dean coming, we've got Tony coming. And then after Tony's done, I'm going to be showing you guys a walkthrough on how to do your homework assignment in the brand new software for those who have it. And it's going to be so much fun. And those who don't, will have a homework assignment for you as well. And with that said, see if Dean's team is back around to see what the next step in the process is going to be.
What's up? Let's give it up for Russell. All right, what's up, everybody? All right, Mike, can I have everybody back on the screen? Through the magic of technology, I want to see everybody. What's up, everybody? Listen, you know what's cool about learning from Russell? You don't have to put your computer on like 2 or 3 speed. In fact, if there's the negative one, all you need with Russell now, you guys need to all go back and watch Russell again and just slow it down half speed, and you'd be like, oh my God, what an amazing breakthrough. Like, there were some things that you went right by that he just shared in such magic. But here's the cool part. You got an hour's worth of content in a half hour. How incredible is that? Seriously, can we give it up for Russell? And here's the cool part. I want to share. I want to be completely transparent. Stay in this space. Russell's sharing, going, like some of that can seem like, oh my God, that was really fast. And can I really do this? And can I do what Russell's wife did? Or can I do what Stacy did? We all can do it. What I'd suggest is if you're watching this live, awesome. You're going to have access to go back and watch the replay. Even if you're in the Facebook, we're going to leave these up till the end of the challenge. Go back and watch it. Hit pause. Take notes, right? Listen, we have 5 days to give you the capabilities we want you to launch this. At the end of this 5 days, be ready to have the confidence, the capabilities. So we're going to pack a lot in here. So if we're talking a little fast, we're going a little long, listen, remember what we said. Pretend you paid $5,000 for this. Go back and listen to that 5 times if you must. Russell has gone on to build one of the most incredible companies, ClickFunnels, and what he does to help people all around the world and write incredible books. He lives this every day. He's like a little kid. When you talk about building education brands, he can't even stop. Like that's how Russell talks in real life. Like you go to lunch with Russell, I think I'm quick. I get done with lunch, I'm like, did I have coffee? But that just shows his enthusiasm to help. So each day, just so you know, leave all the comments you can, leave the feedback. We have probably 20 staff members right now watching and hearing your feedback because we already know what we're teaching tomorrow, but we'll adjust it based on you. Go a little faster, go a little deeper here. I need to understand this. All of those things are coming. That's why we get to live this journey together for the next 5 days. You guys up for it? All right, in about 3 minutes, I'm going to bring out someone you might know, my dear friend, and someone who's going to light it up for you. You guys ready for a little Tony Robbins here in a few minutes? You guys ready? Like, seriously? Okay, just give me a couple more minutes. Here's what I want to share. I want to give away a prize for people that have been playing full out in the Facebook group. We got more coming at the end, and we have an assignment for tomorrow, so don't go anywhere. But I want to give a prize away to Roberto Sidono. Roberto Sedona, you've been playing full out in the Facebook group, brother. So you are winning an iPhone 11 just because you played full out. We want to teach, these are ethical bribes. These aren't like cheesy gifts that when you walk, this is to say, wow, if I take uncomfortable action, if I do the things even when I don't feel I'm ready, if I go live in the Facebook group to encourage somebody else, you get rewarded. In fact, today, we're going to give away a ticket to our World Summit. That's a World Summit with Tony Robbins and I that we're doing October 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Write that down. We're doing it in this. Well, you know what? Mike, do you have that sizzle reel? Take 60 seconds while we wait for Tony. Watch this sizzle reel. You're going to want to win this prize. Be right back.
We've got to be able to serve people when they need it most. I want something that's truly interactive and something that would be like being at an event.
This isn't your grandpa's Zoom call from someone's living room.
40-foot high ceilings. I'm going to do 16-foot high, 50-foot wide retina screen.
We're going to show you how to tap into the digital economy.
If you really want to learn Italian, you have the money and time, you'd fly to Italy, right? We'd immerse you, even if you have no teacher. Being in it day and night, night and day, there's a different quality of learning. It's called total immersion.
We're going to come into your living room and share with you the strategies to build your own personal virtual brand. You're going to learn from Ed Milet, Brendan Burchard, Russell Brunson, Jenna Kutcher, Pete Vargas, and other special guests.
It's going to be a blast, and it's going to take your business to the next level.
Is that awesome or what? Can we give it up for that? And let's give it up for Tony built that stadium. That's no Zoom. This is amazing what we have here, but that's just whole different world. For those of you at UPW, or if you went to BM and you're here, you know what we're talking about. That's what we're doing the World Summit. And guess what? I'm not selling those tickets today, but someone's going to win that ticket, and somebody's going to win tickets every day to that World Summit. You guys good with that? And you're going to win our elite ticket. So that's the kind of bribes we're giving away. And again, they're bribes to get you to take action. I told you before how you could pay Tony, myself, and Russell back for spending this time with you is to be here, take the notes, take uncomfortable action, and get the results in your life that you desire. And I think we're ready. Mike, are we good? All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. And of course, get rid of all your distractions. Close all the other icons on your computer. Don't look at your text. These are those rare moments we get. Like I said, Tony just went full out for 5 days. One day was like 13 hours at Business Mastery. But this community means the world to him. Self-education changed my life. He's the man that helped change it. Self-education changed his life if he didn't go to a Jim Rohn event, he has no idea where he'd be. Both of us, including Russell, we're so honored and to share it, but even more, we're kind of forget the right word, like obligated to share this with people because it transformed our lives. And this is what I was trying to think. We owed a debt of gratitude. And now with the world shifting, it's not just for Tony Robbins or Russell Brunson or Dean Graziosi. This is for you. It's the time now. The world more than ever needs role models, needs leaders, and needs you to share what you know. So without further ado, do we have my dear friend, Mr. Tony Robbins, ready to go?
How you doing there?
What's up, brother?
How you doing, brother?
Good, how are you?
How are y'all? Listen, it's a privilege to be with you guys today. I really appreciate the fact that there's 175,000 of you from all over the world here that have committed to build your brand in 5 days. That's a pretty big promise, isn't it? But I think you're going to find each of these days there's going to be a stacking, and with the homework that you're going to do. And by the way, that's the whole purpose of a challenge, is to take on a challenge, is to push yourself to do something you wouldn't normally do on your own, but also to do it in a way in which you've been really coached effectively, mentored effectively on how to produce that result immediately. But a lot of people are waiting to try to be perfect, or a lot of people compare themselves to somebody else. I've been reading the comments, some of the people there talking about, I'm just scared. And you know what, guys, everybody is. It's just natural. So I thought I might just take a couple minutes and tell you a little bit about my brand journey so you see what it used to take, and then I'll tell you what's happening now, and then maybe see what you want to do to go forward. First of all, I'm so grateful that we live in a time in which self-education is becoming the dominant force. Self-education is what completely changed my life. I had no role models of success in business or in life. I went through 4 fathers. I had a mom that I love dearly. She's passed away, but she was really a great human being. But when she got on alcohol and prescription drugs, she got really violent. So I had a really rough background, to be honest with you. But I had this hunger, and I think that's all you need. And when people ask me all the time, they're like, what makes somebody truly successful, Tony? I've been with the most successful business people, multi-billionaires that started from nothing. I've been with the most successful artists, musicians, athletes, some of the most successful politicians, you name it. I've worked with just about anybody you can imagine who's a peak performer in life over these last 42 years that I've been doing this. I'm in my 43rd year. It's crazy. I started when I was 17 years old. So along that path, though, the self-education gave me that, because I'm sure some of you look at me or Dean or Russell and go, well, yeah, but they can do this. But I'm here to tell you, if you saw where I started, you'd feel very differently. I was 5'1" in high school, so that whole 6'7" thing didn't do me any good because I wasn't that. I was honestly more introverted. But when it came to helping somebody, I got out of myself. And I think many of you will feel that experience once you put yourself on the line. And I just wanted answers. I wanted answers to my own life to start with. And so the only way I could get it was self-education. And I'm so freaking old that there was no internet back then. I had to go to the library. I remember saving all my money to buy a book. And one of these first books I read, besides Think and Grow Rich, was the very first one was The Magic of Believing by Claude M. Bristol. And I mean, to go spend $10 on a book in those days was a huge amount of money for me, right? I'm going to high school. I'm working as a janitor, making $40 a week. And then my mom gets upset with my 4th father and kicks him out. She's a powerfully intense lady. And then she thought I was on his side, so she chased me out with a knife. And I had a 1960 Volkswagen. I earned it $40 a week. I had no reverse, so I had to park on a hill so I could back out. And she kept my car. And I had to figure out, what the hell am I going to do? And I slept on this mountain this first night, and then it rained. The next night I found myself, going to a friend's house and saying, can I sleep in your laundry room? But I knew I had to change my life. And I was so depressed and so overwhelmed. I love my little brother and sister. I was separated from my family. I had no money. I got to get myself into school. It's Christmas time, Christmas Eve. It's pretty depressing. So I took little cash I had. I got on a bus and I went to this metaphysical bookstore that was about 13 miles from my home that I'd been once before. And I searched and found this book. And that silly book, simple book, educated me on the power of belief. Belief creates and belief destroys. Whether you do the things we're going to show you the next few days have nothing to do with whether you're capable of it. It's just a story you've told yourself over and over again. If you tell a story loud enough, long enough, consistently enough, you believe it. Some people's stories destroy their opportunities. Some people's stories create. And so that's why I realized I had to work on me more than anything else, not the world, but me. And so I started becoming crazy reader. I took a speed reading course. I said, I'm gonna read a book a day. I didn't do that, but I read 700 books in 7 years, all in the area of human development, psychology, physiology, philosophy. And what I was obsessed by was changing me first. And when I could change myself, like lose weight, I was short and fat. And then my friends saw it. And they said, how'd you do that? And so I told them, and then I saw them change, and all of a sudden girls were interested in them, and I was like their hero. And I felt this incredible joy of seeing the impact of what I was doing. But I knew nothing about marketing or sales. And, I was 17 years old, and I went to this seminar by Jim Rohn, a friend of mine, not a friend of my mom's, I was working for. I asked him, how did you become so successful? I mean, my dad said you used to be such a loser. It's a true story. And kids can say this stuff. And he said, your dad said, what? I said, well, and he goes, well, that's probably fair. I was kind of a loser. Now he was buying real estate. This is in the late 70s in California. And, things were going, the market was going up through the roof on real estate. And he'd buy a house and fix it up and sell it. And I was helping to move it. And he said to me, well, actually, my life was turned around by, meeting this man and going to this seminar, this man named Jim Rohn. I said, what's a seminar? And he said, well, it's where someone takes like 10 or 15 or 20 years of their life experience and they pour it into a few hours and save you a decade or two and show you what to do. I was like, wow, that really changed you that much? And he said, absolutely. I said, well, I got to do that then. I said, can you get me in? And he said, yeah, of course I can. And then he didn't say anything else. I said, well, will you? And he said, no. And I said, why not? Because then you won't value it if you don't pay for it. I said, listen, I'm going to high school. I'm making, $40 a week as a janitor. How much is this thing? And he said, $35. $35, that's like $175 today to give you an idea. And I'm in high school and I have no source of income. I'm like, are you serious? $35 for 3 hours? And he said, yeah. He goes, but you don't have to do it. He said, but if you commit and you pay for it, you'll get enough out of it. And I was like, well, that's a heavy number. He said, then don't go and learn on your own experience. And he gave me one of the greatest educations of my life. I remember I went up and I struggled for about 4 days. And I finally made this big decision, spend, $35 to go to a seminar, but it was a week's pay. And I went there and I was out of my mind. And I came out of that seminar saying, I want to help people change their lives. And I eventually went to work for Jim Rohn. I talked my way in. I was just a kid. And I didn't have the skills or the abilities, but I found what it is. I figured if I want to have a great quality of life, I have to live these principles. If I'm going to live these principles, I might as well have to live them by making it my way of life, by making it to, what my job is, what my vocation was. And so that's where it all started for me. I knew nothing about marketing, knew nothing about how to build a brand. I worked for Jim Rohn. I became the top guy in his company. And one day they came and gave me a promotion. I had this goal that I was going out and speaking to real estate companies and stock brokerages and just getting them some value, added value, so they would then go see Jim Rohn. And then I'd follow up and sell this follow-up seminar that I did with Jim Rohn, which was $1,200 for 2 days. So it'd be like $5,000 today in today's dollars. And I mean, I had no background for these things, but I had so much passion. And I want you to understand, with hunger and passion and self-education, there is absolutely no limit to what you can do. And today, there's not an ounce of exaggeration in that because we have tools and technology that have never existed before. So Jim Rohn gives me, I want to become an area sales manager. You get your own office and you get 25 or 30 people working for you. And I'll never forget, they brought me down to meet with Jim Rohn. Nobody met with Jim Rohn. You had to do something really special. I was going to have this lunch with him with these other guys. And they told me, look, we're doing a new form of the company and we want you to become the area sales director in LA. They said, where would you like to do it? I grew up poor, so I went Beverly Hills. And they said, okay. And I said, well, how many people can I get? They said, how many do you want? I said, I want 30 people. They said, okay. And I said, when do I start? They said, when do you want to start? I said, today. They said, okay. I said, where do I get the check to, open the offices in Beverly Hills and get the business started? And they said, you write that check. I said, what? How many money? They said, no, we're doing this thing called phase 2. They were going bankrupt. They had not managed their resources. So they're going to turn me into the person that goes and builds LA for them. And you know what? I figured out how to do it. And in those days, let me tell you what it took. You had to design an event. You had to structure the event. I had no history and do those things. Then I had to go rent the hotel, which was expensive as hell, and hope that I could fill the damn thing. In order to rent the hotel, I first had to do a free guest event. So I had all these things I wanted to share, and I wrote them all down. I organized it. And, to send a mailer, you guys. I mean, I'm talking like, when I went to school, I walked 2 miles uphill through the snow both ways. But it's true. I just want to give you the contrast of how easy it is today compared to then. So, by the time you made the brochure, you organized it, you got the labels, and you mailed it, it was about $5. So today, most of you want to send something out to 10,000, 100,000 people. 100,000 people would be $500,000 to send it. And you didn't know what the result was. You had to rent the rooms were expensive. I did all that. I ran ads. And I thought, this is going to crush it. And I want to get at least 500 people. And 7 people showed up, my friends, true story. And they were spread out all across the different parts of the room. I'm like, guys, come on down here, sit in the front row. And I did something that day that became the way I built my brand. Hear me now. There's no replacement for results. There's no replacement for added value. There's no replacement for you over-delivering beyond what you promise every single time you get up. And so I got up and I delivered for those 7 people as if it was 7,000. These poor souls, if you can imagine, I dumped the whole load on them, just me. And I grew from that and I expanded and I learned and I just did what's next. I had these huge goals like some of you do. And over the years, I learned something. I learned what I now believe to be true is that we tend to overestimate what we can do in a year. Mark my words. And we underestimate what we can do in 3, 4, 5 years or a decade or 2 or 3 or 4. And that time's going to go by. So I know you're going to meet the young lady tomorrow who's been doing this for 10 years or started with nothing. I want you to see the pathway. I want you to not say, no, it's Tony Robbins or it's Russell or it's Dean. Or we're proud of who we've become. But we become these people because of this hunger to serve. I can tell you personally, Dean has got the most incredible heart. He's my friend for more than a decade and a half. This guy will over-deliver every single time. And he doesn't just over-deliver during the event, he over-delivers in the follow-up. Russell, what he's built with ClickFunnels is unbelievable. And I met Russell about 10, 12 years ago. He came to one of the seminars, and I just got in a field of so many people that are just selling shit. This is a man with so much integrity, so much caring. I know you can feel it in him. He's just authentic. And so there's very few people like that. So what I learned from Jim Rohn is success leaves clues. And how I grew along the way is I looked for anyone who's successful and started to figure out what are they doing different than me. They're not lucky. Don't say they're lucky or they're just super talented. They did things different than me. Let me figure out what seeds they sowed. Let me reap the same rewards. Let me find the way. I'll make it mine too, but let's start with what works. And so you have the opportunity to that over these next 5 days. You get to learn from, quite frankly, I'll say it for them because they won't say it for themselves to sound egotistical, 2 of the best marketers I know of in the world. No bullshit. Many of you know I held a comeback challenge, and that comeback challenge I decided I wanted to do. I was going to do it for 2 days, and I had a good idea of how I was going to do it. And Dean came along and said, Tone, I'm your buddy. You're the best in the world what you do. And you've been the best in the marketing, but it's a different world now. It's digital marketing. Why don't you do 5 days and someone else will do portions of it? And hell, with Dean's help, the very people are going to teach you. We put almost 500,000, we put 400 million people in our comeback challenge, 386,000, just under 400,000 people. And of course, I over-delivered. I said we do it for an hour. Most days we did it for 2.5. But we added so much value to people's lives, and that's how you build a brand. Today, you can go spend tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, and you're not going to get the same brand impact as delivering for your client. And we're going to show you how to make sure that delivery happens over the next few days. I'm going to join you on the last day and give you my core elements of how I've built brands, because now I'm fortunate enough to have 54 companies. Actually, I have 74, but I keep the habit of saying 54. I have 74 companies. We do over $6 billion in business. So I have no business background, but I just took the next step. And I was introverted, guys. I'm not bullshitting. I was introverted. Like, I couldn't talk about something. I am really at my core today. My wife will tell you, we go to a party. It's like, I'm not a networker, but we're in the corner. Thank God I'm famous. People come up and talk. And if they want to talk about something deep, if they want to go what's it about, then I turn on. But it's like, finding the way to add that value. So along the way, I kept modeling and learning. And as I modeled and learned, I got stronger and better. And I remember when I looked and saw these infomercials out there at that time, and I was like, They were terrible. They were horrible. They were people getting up there and lying to you. And I was like, I got to find a way to do that. I didn't have the money and the time or the resources, but I was creative. And so I found a company, Guthrie Ranker, and we had a relationship and I negotiated and we found a way. And all of a sudden now I was able to get mass number of people to see what I was doing. But today, guys, even the infomercial business, oh my God, so expensive, so difficult. And you're shooting out to everybody. And today, you know, there's 1,000+ channels. It's pretty hard. But today with Facebook, with social media, with YouTube, with all the tools, LinkedIn, we have the ability to target exactly who your niche is. And what you're going to learn this week is, I did it the hard way. I want to affect everybody all the time. I want to affect young people, old people, in between people. I want to work not just on health, but on finances, not just finances on business, not just business on their own emotional well-being. So I've done something that's insane. And you don't want to work this hard and you don't have to. I mean, this is my 43rd year doing this. I started when I was 3, of course. You understand that, right? But sincerely, 43 years, and the changes I've seen along the way are mind-boggling. But I'm here because I've always delivered. Always. No exceptions. When they told me I had a tumor in my brain, I delivered. When I showed up in Hawaii early in my career, and my seminars were now 350 to 550 people for a weekend. And the promoter there stole the money, went out of town, and didn't tell people the dates. And I showed up and there were 13 people at my seminar. This is not a free guest event. This is a 4-day Unleash the Power Within, 12 hours a day. And everybody said, cancel it. I said, no, I'm not canceling it. This is what I'm made for. These 13 people came here. I did 13 people for 4 days and nights in Hawaii. It's still legendary. Everybody said, this guy, he is so real. He's so sincere. That's what built my brand. You're not going to build it just by advertising. You can't afford to advertise at the level that will do that. And today it doesn't matter. In social media, if the product or service isn't worthwhile, it spreads like wildfire. Remember, good news travels fast, bad news travels faster. So today, you can find a way to become the brand by understanding what is your superpower, what is that insight, what is that skill, what is that niche? And it's different for everybody. People saving marriages, people after a marriage getting a couple that actually know what to do so they don't kill each other and their kids are totally nurtured. People's faces break out and they can clear it. People know how to build a business cutting hair, making $250,000 a year instead of $48,000. We have like over 5,000 niches that are part of our core community here. 5,000. There's a niche for everything. And the tighter the niche, the easier to market, the easier to target. And we're going to show you exactly how to do that. But think in terms of give yourself the truth. The truth is you're not going to start as the superstar. The truth is you're going to start small, but you can grow so fast today because of the technology that's available. I mean, what I'm able to do today is unbelievable. You know, we just had a Unleash the Power Within seminar, and we had over 30,000 people, probably closer to 35,000, because people brought people into their living room. We did it in their living rooms. I swore I'd never do that. You're never going to be able to generate the energy and the emotion and so forth, but I thought it through. I created it. Now, could I have done that when I started? Hell no. So don't compare yourself in that area. Just say, I can get there 10 times faster than him because I can learn from what these people did. My whole life has been, how do I compress decades into days? How do I save myself a decade by learning about other people's experience? And my brothers and sisters, and I feel like you're my brothers and sisters because you're entrepreneurs, you're out there putting yourself on the line. And you're in the middle of freaking COVID, right? I mean, I started back in 1977, 1978. In those 2-3 years, we had 17% inflation, right? If I want to try to buy a house, I had to borrow it at 18% interest. Business was through the floor. But because I started in winter, it made me so strong. I've been the dominant force in my industry for 40 plus years. But it's not because I'm so talented and brilliant. It's because I'm passionate about serving and I will not drop below. I will always over deliver. And when you do that over and over again, you don't have to promote yourself. The world promotes you. People say, you got to go meet this person. This person is sincere. This is real. That's what's made Russell who he is. That's what's made Dean who they are. And both, I've seen Russell and Dean over the last decade and a half. I mean, Russell's got a company worth over $1 billion. Dean's done over $1 billion in business. I'm doing $6 billion a year with all my companies now. And we have started with nothing. Now, I'm not saying you need to do $1 billion. You might just want to do something that's part-time that's just so fulfilling for you. I've done this when I've made no money. I've done this when I'm on the verge of bankruptcy because this is my calling. So if you don't think you have your calling yet, that's part of what we want to help you find is what that is. but you can have a calling. You know, I teach everybody when they come to business mastery, business is really two things, really two. And that is really innovation and marketing. That's the whole game. Everything else you do comes from those two elements. Every other part of your business is paid for by innovation and marketing. Now, when you hear innovation, a lot of times you think high tech, you know, all these huge things, they're outside my reach, but all innovation means is finding a better way to meet your client's needs. Finding a better way. That might be you do it cheaper, might be you do it faster, might be you make it more fun. It might be that you're the first one to do it. There's so many ways. It might be that they just feel you're caring more, and so they're willing to listen and respond. Innovation shows up in so many different ways, but if you find a way to do more for others than anybody else, and you keep finding a way to do that in just little ways, the accumulation builds you a brand. And marketing is getting people to want to do business with you. Marketing is triggering people's desire to reach out and say, I want what you have. And I got to tell you, between the three of us, in this industry, there's no one who's done more. And that's not being unhumble, not like humility, it's just facts. And we have done that because we have learned by so many mistakes, guys. And they're mistakes we want to make sure you don't have to go through. And then there's just the automation that's available today. I mean, it used to take me weeks to design a course and then structure it all out and then figure out how we're going to make it happen and then go, you know, book the venues and take all that risk and then buy all the ads and then hope the hell it all came together. And then, you know, there was a mixture of results in that process, but I still got up and delivered. Today, you know, with the technology we have, the technology we developed is the technology we've wanted. Each of us, Russell and Dean and I, have been working on it for 2 years, but we've wanted something like this for 20. You can do a class right now on our software. You can record it while it's happening, push a button afterwards, have the course be done, have it posted in an environment where people are coming to buy courses. I mean, guys, this is like, it's like the difference between used to get on a ship and spend months to go over to Europe. And now, you know, you're there in 6 hours, right? You know, on a plane. It's that much of a change that's happened. And you're in an industry here, guys. If you understand what you're doing, or you're going to by the end of these 5 days, you're in an industry where literally it's what, $355 million a day is being spent on self-education products online. Forbes says in the next 4 years, it'll get to $1 billion a day. Now, you can get in any business. And most business people don't think this way. I didn't in the beginning. But you really got to look at where in the life cycle is an industry, you know, because you can be the best company in industry, but if it's an industry that's going down, you're going to have a hard time maximizing. You know, if you're in the big box office supply business right now, good luck, right? Even if you're the best one, that's an industry that's aging, right? But if you're an AI, you're an industry that's growing. Well, self-education is on a liftoff intensity. So a rising tide lifts all boats and a dropping tide takes everybody down, even if you're the best. So you are on the verge, if you want to be able to do something that's meaningful, not sell widgets, but take some level of knowledge you have, some skill, some insight, or someone else. I started out with Jim Rohn. I promoted him and I promoted NLP and I promoted a lot of things. It's like learning to play music. You play other people's music, and then after a while, you find your own. Right? And then you have something that's the best of all the peoples whose shoulders you're standing on, but it's also uniquely you. And that will evolve through the process we're going to show you and teach you, but it's going to go so fast because of the technology, because the speed at which you can do something, get feedback, actually earn money, see what customers want, adapt, change. It's never been able to do it at this level, and you've never been able to do it where you could find these niches in a totally cost-effective way because of what's available today through social media, through the Facebooks, through the LinkedIns, through what we can do today. So my message to you is really a simple one. A, I love you for even wanting to do this. I love that you're the kind of person that isn't sitting back on your ass and going, oh my God, COVID has got me and it's over and I have no life. You obviously have the number one most important key to success, which is hunger. But you got to convert that hunger into doing the uncomfortable things. I'm here because I added value, but I added value because I did all the shit I didn't want to do. If I were to ask you today to make a list of all the things you really want in your life, and afterwards, when we're done here, if you want to do this, I'd encourage you to do it. I've done this many times in my life. But you write down the things you really want to achieve, to experience, to enjoy. And then you ask yourself the second question. What would I not want to have to do to have that be successful? What would I not have to go through? I don't want to get uncomfortable. I don't want to fail. I don't want to have somebody reject me. And you make your long list. And if you really want to succeed, you look at that list one at a time. You look at everything you say you never want to do, and you go, I really don't want to do that, but I'm willing to make this vision a reality. I'm willing to have life on my terms. I'm willing to be able to touch other lives in some beautiful way that is small, but small things make the big difference in the quality of life. I want to do this so I have financial freedom. I want to do this to have life on my terms. And you look at each one, and if each one you're willing to push through it, you're honest with yourself, even though you don't want to, you're willing to, something kind of magical happens, at least in my experience. It's almost like the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, looks and says, you're dead serious and you're willing to do it? All right. I might test you a few times, see if you really mean it, maybe give you some big challenges, but I've never had to go through all the shit that I didn't want to go through. I've had to go through some of it. And because I was willing to, not only willing to, but committed to push through that, that's why I have the privilege to chat with you right now, 175,000 of you all across the world for just a few minutes. It's a privilege, but it's a privilege that's earned, and you can earn it. And so I'm inviting you, since it's the first day, to realize you are in the right place at the right time. You're in a place where technology and humans, look at, we got 75% of the planet is still at home, and they're all spending more time online than ever before, but more importantly, they're developing new habits. They're searching for answers. They're wanting what they can do. Kids are learning from school, and the whole education process, which quite frankly right now is a disaster. You know it and I know it. We've got 112 universities that have more than $1 billion of money they've saved in endowment and are overcharging way past what the cost of inflation is. And people are spending money and having to pay for an education that's outdated by the time they finish it and are paying for it for the next 5, 10, 15 years. That shit's not going to last. And part of it is COVID is going to disrupt it, because these educational environments, which are really hedge funds with schools attached, that's all they really are. They're trying to get kids to not come and still pay them full price. I hear parents now going, F that. This is bullshit. And I think it's going to shake the system up. So what's going to become the new standard is self-education. If I had a standard education, I wouldn't be here. I went and got my education. I decided what mattered to me, I got it. So we're building an incredible worldwide community of every kind of education you can imagine that has real pragmatic value. People today don't want to learn from a professor who maybe understands this shit and has never done it. They're not looking for a critic. They're looking for somebody who's done it. You know what's so cool? The people that have done it, they aren't the people most people would bet on, but they're the ones that can help you. And I just finished 5 days of our business mastery. It's kind of a business boot camp I do twice a year. And we had people from 62 countries. And on the last day, I brought in several people to interview. And one of them is a woman who built It Cosmetics, Jamie. Some of you know who she is, just an amazing woman. And hearing her story, it's my story, it's Dean's stories, it's Russell's story, it's your story if you choose it. She literally was in Denny's working as a waitress, frustrated as can be. I'm grateful to hear she shared with me. I had no clue. She started listening to my personal power. She saved her tip money to, in those days, spent almost $300 to get an audio program and listened to it every day, fed her mind. She educated herself. In those days, you couldn't go down the web and get everything for free on YouTube. So she had to be vested. And she pushed like crazy. And guess what? In 10 years, starting with nothing, with more no's you could ever, people told her no over and over and over and again. She was down to her last $1,000. She's going to go bankrupt. And she finally broke through. She just sold her company 2 years ago for $1.2 billion. First female to become a L'Oreal CEO in their 100-year history. She had no background for this. In fact, one of the people, when I heard the story, just made me so angry, but being angry won't help anything. I mean, the guy got his feedback by not having her as a client, but a private equity firm came to her early on and they looked at everything. She thought this is going to be a breakthrough. I've had this so many times. This is going to be my breakthrough. This is going to be it. If I told you how many times I thought of a breakthrough and then I almost went bankrupt, it would scare the hell out of you. It might scare you from trying, but you don't have to spend the money I did now because you can get these resources for free. But she shared with me, this guy said, well, we're going to pass. And she was like devastated. She heard so many no's. But you know what he said to her? He goes, do you want to know why? She goes, yeah. No, she said, I'd like to know why. He goes, do you really want to know why? And she said, yeah. He goes, you really want to know why, even if it doesn't sound good? She said, yes. He goes, well, I look at a woman like you in your shape and your weight and your piece, and I think there's no way this woman can sell makeup. I mean, oh my God. And guess what? The greatest revenge is massive success. So she sells her company for $1.2 billion. Would have been the biggest deal of this man's life, and he prejudged. I want you to know, don't prejudge yourself, right? You're just beginning the journey. Some of you aren't. Some of you are well on your way, and this will just give you an acceleration. But I'm here to tell you, whatever you're dreaming about, you can make real, but it has to be that hunger and that drive, and you got to do what's uncomfortable, right? If I said to you, what makes people buy, you know it's branding today because there's too many choices. People will get on their knees at 7-Eleven, reach behind something else to pull out a Coca-Cola, even though Coca-Cola is not the best tasting brand according to all the research that's been done over the years. Pepsi beats them in almost every taste test, but it doesn't matter. They stopped even doing the taste tests because people are just so anchored to the brand. If I said to you right now, think of a luxury electric car company. Luxury electric car company. What's the first one that would pop in your mind? A luxury electric car company, right? Anybody knows that for most people, the first thing that's come up in your mind was what name? Tesla, right? They own it. Now you might say, no, I thought of a Prius. That would be the second one. Or maybe I thought of a Volt. But out of all, there's now dozens and dozens of electric car companies. One stands out. They own that category. If I said to you right now, what's the first big computer company you think of? I say, think of a big computer company. What's the first one you think of? Say it out loud where you are, where you're sitting, and throw it up there. You know what it is. It's Apple. $2 trillion company, my friends, $2 trillion. And in 1997, they were going bankrupt, but they figured out how to revive this brand by doing some things that added value. And we're going to show you some of those things. I'm going to share with some of them on your fourth day with me on Thursday. I'm going to actually do more of a training portion there. But what other companies could you think of? Well, the others are so small in terms of how many people respond. Think of HP or Dell, or Microsoft don't just software. They actually make computers now, but most people don't think of them first. Who you think of first owns the category. If I said a soft drink, what's the first soft drink you think of? Now, you've kind of been pre-framed, but if I hadn't said it, you'd still say Coca-Cola. It's number one in the world. Right? Their goals are to make sure they get 90% of the fluids you drink in a day to come from them. That's their goals. I think they got us down like 40% of most of the world. It's wild. Who's second? Second is way far behind. It's Pepsi. Such a small percentage, right? And if I said to you right now, think of let's say a brand that owns a category completely. If I said to you, we want to ship this overnight, what do most people still say? FedEx it. Right? If you say FedEx it, people at FedEx hate that shit, right? They're like, give me a break, right? You mean ship it overnight. UPS hates that people say FedEx it, right? Or pass me the Kleenex. Kleenex is a brand. Scott Tissues goes, it's not Kleenex, right? It's tissue, right? So what we want you to do this week is learn how to come back to where you could become that. So Tony, how am I going to do that? Well, listen to me. I mean, you can do this with anything. I'll give you one last example, and then I'll pop out of here and go back to Dean, and we'll finish this up. I got a friend years ago. I haven't seen him in years, but I just looked this up the other day because I wanted to share the story with some people. His name was Mike Glickman. I didn't know Mike well. I was living in L.A. He was living in L.A. This is decades ago, in the beginning of my career. So I think we were almost the same age. So I was like maybe 20 years old. I think he was 17, if I remember correctly. And at 17 years old, he had a dream. And his dream was, I'm going to dominate real estate in the San Fernando Valley of LA, kind of upscale area like Encino's. You may have heard of some of these cities. And he's 17, and you can't become a realtor until you're 18. And so he didn't have a lot of money. He didn't have money for a car. So he would get on his bike and go to realtors. And in those days, there wasn't the web. So people made up these, and they still have them. I'm sure you've seen these paper or like mini magazines with all the different real estate that's for sale in an area. You could get it at 7-Eleven or something like that. But he used to go deliver those for realtors on his bike because he just so wanted to be involved in real estate. At 18 years old, he gets his license. He goes to work for a company in Encino, California. And this kid is hungry and driven and sincere, and he's knocking on doors. And, if you know anything about the real estate business, you have what you call your farm, the area that you work to try to, get yourself some listings and to sell homes. And after, I don't remember the real amount of time, I'm going to make it up. I think it was 9, 10, 11 months. It was less than a year. He had not made one sale, not one. And the problem he had was the same problem I had when we started out. And that was, looked so young, right? It's like people thought I was like 14 or 15 years old, and I was like 19, 17, 18, 19. And so he said, Tony, he's like, I can't get anybody. They just don't, they look at me like I'm a kid. They don't want to list their, $1 million house with me in those days. And I said to him, brother, I said, you know what you got to do? You got to build a brand. I said, I built a brand by adding so much value that they don't give a shit that I'm 20 years old or 21 years old or 22 or 23 at that point. They say to me things like, you're just a kid. I can't believe I'm learning from you. One of my dearest friends in the world is a man named, Peter Guber, and I've known him for almost 35, 40 years. And I'll never forget, he was head of studio of Columbia, TriStar, Sony. He's got 52 Academy Award nominations. Now we own sports teams together. It's been an amazing relationship. But in those early days, you say, I can't believe I'm learning from you. You're like 18 years my junior. You're just a kid. But I got the result, and that built my brand. And I said the result was something that added so much value, that did so much more for others than anybody else was doing, that people said, that's the guy. If you think of that, think of him. Wouldn't it be nice if someone thought of real estate and they just thought of you instantly? If they thought about improving something, they thought of you before anyone else. That's an advantage that is ridiculous. I have that advantage today. People all over the world, when I announce I'm coming someplace, we get 10, 15,000 people to show up like clockwork anywhere I go in the world. I went just recently over to Asia, to Japan, and went to China, and we sold out 15,000 people. And I hadn't been there at that time. But people are ready because my brand has gotten that large. You can build that brand. So I said to him way back then, I said, you got to differentiate yourself. You can't do it just knocking on doors. Do something else for your community that everyone will see and will know what kind of man you are, regardless of your age. They'll stop thinking of you as a boy. And so he thought and thought. I said, there's an answer out there. Look for a problem you can solve. Look for something, because when you solve a problem and people see you do that, they'll respect you. And that's exactly, by the way, what Russell was showing you, is showing you that you don't have to have this long brand. All you got to do is show someone you've taken on the journey and you've gotten results for. When they see you got those results and that person talks for you and says, it was incredible, you will get more business and it'll just start to snowball. You'll get momentum. So here's the end of the story. So cool, so simple. One day I get this call from him and he says, Tony, he goes, I think I might have an idea, but it seems risky. I said, well, tell me. He said, well, I don't know if you've seen, but there's a trash strike up here in San Fernando Valley. The trash workers have been on strike, and they've been on strike for like 3 weeks. And he goes, it's getting really bad. He goes, when I go to knock on doors, he goes, there's trash thrown all over the place. The dogs have gotten in it. Now there's some parts of the community, there's actually rats. They've never had rats. This is a super upscale community, and people are pissed and they're angry. And it's really hard to sell any real estate to anybody also. But, I'm still having that same problem. I'm too young. And he said, so I had this idea, what if I didn't wait till the trash strike ended? They're like, what if I went and I hired a private company to come take out all the trash just from my farm, just from the streets and the community that I work? And he said, I'm thinking, I said, how much do you think it'd cost? And he goes, well, I've done some research. I forget the exact number. I'm making it up, but I think it was like $3,400 or something like that. It was less than $4,000. But that would be a lot of money then. It'd be like $8,000, $9,000 today, right? And I said, dude, you got to do it. I said, that's brilliant. I couldn't have come up with that idea. You did. It's your idea. You figured it out, but you got to go from idea to doing it. That's where you're going to get the impact. He goes, I know, but it's a big risk. And he goes, and then how do I tell people that I did it? I said, you don't tell people you did it. He said, what? I'm going to spend $3,400. I'm going to take all the trash. I'm not going to tell anybody. I said, that's right. You're not going to tell anybody. I said, it'll eventually get out, but not from you. And that will make it more true and real and authentic, because that's what you're doing. You're figuring out how to help your community. He goes, Tony, I don't know. I said, trust me on this one. You have to find a way to break through. So sure enough, to his credit, he hires outside trash people. They take out all the trash. Now, I want you to picture this. Imagine you're a wealthy family member and you've been coming home every night for 3.5, 4 weeks, and there's trash spilled everywhere. There's smell there. It's not what you signed up for. You're mad, you're angry. You turn on the TV every night and they go, it's day 27 of the trash strike. And guess what happens? You come home and the trash is gone. It's pristine. You're out of your mind. You're so happy, right? And then you turn on the TV set And they go, it's day 31 of the trash strike. And people are like, what? My trash is gone. Who stole my trash? And all of a sudden, people are asking, where'd the trash go? And there's this buzz in this community. It's a true story. Everyone's trying to figure out where'd the trash go. I mean, the trash just 5 blocks over. There's trash everywhere. There's not in our community. What's happened? And then eventually, the information leaked out. And all of a sudden, he's getting call after call after call. Hey, I heard this. And I said to him, when they ask you, tell the truth. Yes, I did it. And everybody said, here's what you're going to do. Here's what they're going to say to you. They're going to go, oh my God, that's so smart. Why didn't I think of that? Listen, I want to pay my share. I said, when they go to pay their share, you don't let them. You don't take anybody's money. Because Tony, why not? I could defer some of my expenses. I said, no. Deliver for these people beyond what they imagine. That's how you build raving fans. Satisfied customers go away. Raving fans stay. You're about to build your brand. Mike Glickman. And he goes, okay. I said, but when they do ask you, tell the truth. And when they offer to pay, say, absolutely not. I want to take care of this community because that's what you really did. I'm a realtor in the area. Listen, if you want to do something for me, if you ever want to sell your house, please call me. I'd love to list it. If you know anybody who wants to buy a house, please call me. Guess what? This, I guess it would be at that point, 19-year-old young man who'd been struggling to sell one home, made $1.2 million in commissions for the next 12 months and sold all but one home in the entire community for the next 3 years. See, anybody can build a brand. It's about focusing on adding value. And we're going to show you how to do that faster, quicker, better than ever before. But let me tell you one more thing. Get the freaking software, guys. I heard that only like 20,000, you got the software. It's $1 and we're donating it. We're feeding people, feeding America. It's just to make you somewhat committed so you'll actually use it. Get the software. As soon as you're done, you sign up for it and use it because there'll be a lot of assignments on it to make it happen. But most importantly of all, train yourself during these 5 days to give your all and do the things that are uncomfortable. We're going to give you some assignments that naturally are uncomfortable. That's why it's called a challenge. If you do the hard things, you'll build the muscle. And all of a sudden, you'll be doing not only the easy things, the hard things together, and you will wake up with a brand greater than you can imagine. So I'm going to join you on day 4 and give you the specific process of how I believe you build a brand. But in the meantime, my brothers here and some of our sisters who are exploring this area are going to give you each of their strategies as well. I just want to come on today to challenge you, to invite you, to love on you and say, I don't give a damn where you're standing. Without exaggeration, you can get where you want to go. It might take longer than you want, but in the world we're in today, it'll take a lot less time than for everybody else. And we're going to save you the time of all the pain we've been through. But it's going to be worthless. You know, Jim Rohn was my teacher. He used to say, if you let your learning lead to knowledge, you become a fool. If you let your learning lead to action, you become wealthy. And wealthy is not just financial, my friends. It's mental, it's emotional, it's spiritual, and it's financial. So I hope I've gotten your attention. I hope we've gotten your attention. And our intention here is to add so much value to you that you're crazily successful. As a result, we can deepen our relationship. That's to our interest as well. So I want to say thank you to Russell. I want to say thank you to Dean for letting me join you guys. I hope you guys are inspired to say, this is my week. In these 5 days, I'm going to build my brand or rebuild my brand to the next level, and I'm going to push it out and be in business by the end of 5 days. So get yourself the software, spend $1 on yourself. We're going to donate it anyway, so you can do these things and really go for it during these exercises, all right? Blessings to you all. I look forward to hearing the story of your success and hopefully meeting so many of you in person sometime soon. God bless.
Let's give it up. Give me a minute, babe. What's up? Can we give it up for Tony Robbins? You know what? I was sitting here, my wife and my baby are here in a minute. I'm gonna ask them to come out just so, because I like showing off my baby. But we're literally sitting in the other room watching Tony. And I don't know about you, do you guys still get mesmerized by Tony, even if you've heard him 1,000,000 times? Like, he's my brother. We literally talk 10 times a day now because we're doing so much business together. And he talks and I sit here like dreamy, just like watching him, just like getting into the groove. And what an amazing, amazing presentation. And I'm so honored to be partners and be friends and be brothers on this journey. Hey, really quick, I just want to tell you, because we had literally hundreds of comments. My team was telling me, if you don't have the software, we're going to be building what we're learning. We're going to be building in the software every night. If you're just taking the challenge without it, it's okay. But like Tony said, spend the buck. If you didn't already, go to trymastermind.com. If you guys could do me a favor and post it in the chat wherever you're at, even on Facebook, it's trymastermind.com. You get it for $1 every night. Like Russell's coming back on to do the first 5-minute lesson on how to start building. Bring this up, Mike. Could you bring up mastermind.com? This is really it. This is our platform that's launching to the world today, where regular people from all over the world are turning in their knowledge, their experience into a course. If you bring up the slide, Mike, the one that's below me here, Maya Kamorta. Let me just share this with you. Maya, like we just have every niche possible, right? Maya has something called Born for This, helping people discover and achieve their legacy. You would think, who would want that? Well, obviously, she started on the 18th. She got her first, she started Strategies Tools. She already had her first sign up on the 18th within a week of signing up. And we just found out today, 6 days, in the last 6 days, she's already sold 11. Now, are we saying you're going to put up your course and sell 11 overnight? Heck no, I'm not saying that. We're not promising anything. But this is happening nonstop. Pull up the next one. Look at this one. Director of Player Development for prestigious golf club. He's teaching people the mindset for golf, right? Put up his course at $47. He's already had 15 paid clients on the software, right? These are people who've never done it with different backgrounds. Exactly. Let's give it up for them, right? They took uncomfortable action. So many people are scared. Tony, myself, and Russell wanted to build the thing that allowed you to make this real, to stop dreaming, stop thinking, not miss opportunity. And that's why we wanted to do it for $1. So literally right now, you can go to trymastermind.com for $1, or do it as soon as we're done here and rewatch this, because Russell's going to come on here in a few minutes and give you tonight's homework assignment, which is really your uncomfortable action challenge, which allows us to give away some really cool prizes tomorrow. We got a lot of prizes we're giving away today, like elite tickets and some cool swag. But join us. The $1 goes to charity. You get my book, The Underdog Advantage, immediately. I read the book, my first book I've ever read. Some other instant bonuses, because we want you to be able to play full out and have a great experience. Also, there's one more URL, because you guys asked, because we got thousands of you on our Zoom here. You're in our VIP. We're bringing Tony back on here, VIP, for him to do Q&A here in just a little bit. He's literally home waiting. If you want to be a part of the VIP as well, where you get to keep this training, because it will go away, and be a part of the Zoom, that URL, they're both above, just so you know. My team wrote them above. That is BYB Upgrade. So get the $1, spend it. We give it away to charity. Plus, we're adding money to it. That's at trymastermind.com. And then BYB Upgrade if you want to be on the Q&A every day, and then be able to keep this course. So that's that. Okay, so let me give away, I want to give away something else, because I like giving stuff away. You guys you ready to win something? Ready to win something? Okay, 2 people that are going to get Mastermind Swag Bundle. You'll get the shirt, the hat, the water bottles, all the cool stuff. Who likes swag? My wife is obsessed with swag. Hey, babe, come here, really quick. My wife's obsessed with swag, so she's always like, give swag away. So Floor Marcus and Katona Snooks, both of you, for playing full out in the challenge, are getting a big old box of swag. Come here. And this is my best asset right here. Oh. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry. That's right. Now I feel like a horribly mean father. Okay. That didn't work out so well. He's not good on camera at all. I'm going to dock his pay. He's not. No. My wife, I have the best wife in the world. She's so supportive. I wanted you guys to see my precious. Who has kids? You guys know how those moments work out, right? But I'll go cuddle with him in a minute, and I'll apologize to him. Maybe he just doesn't like being on camera. Guys, I'm so excited you're here. I'm so excited for Russell to share. So I'm going to give you your first homework assignment, okay? Your first homework assignment, there's going to be another one. This is your first challenge. This is for people who aren't in the software. But everybody should do this, because we're giving away a bunch of prizes for those in the software, deeper exercise, and this one. This one is simply this. I want you to go back into the Facebook group tonight. Now, write this down. Go back in the Facebook group and either do a live video or upload a video, and you're going to hashtag homework1. Hashtag homework1. And really just go in a couple minutes or less and share a limiting belief. Tony hit right to the point, didn't he, of things that have held us back in the past? Share a limiting belief that has held you back in the past. Imposter syndrome, didn't feel good enough, didn't feel smart enough, didn't have the money, no one believed in me. What's something that held you back in the past that you will never allow to hold you back again? That you're not going to look back after this challenge in a year with regret. Tony, Dean, Russell put all this effort in, I didn't do anything. What is that story? What is that belief that held you back that you are not going to give power to anymore? Share that. Inspire others, because so many people think they're the only ones with that kind of resistance. We all have it. I have it. I still feel like an imposter some days. So go in and share that. Share the belief you had that held you back. You're not allowing it anymore. And we're giving away cool stuff tomorrow, like iPhones, iPads. We're giving away tickets to the World Summit, like crazy stuff tomorrow for you to take uncomfortable action. Okay, now here's the next piece. Russell's going to come on right now, and this is for those of you who have the software. This is going to be a training so we could take what we learn each day and slowly build it. So at the end of 5-6 days, can you go back to my screen, Mike? Imagine at the end of 5 or 6 days on my computer screen, you were on here teaching how to do whatever it is you do, teaching about relationships, teaching about the mess you went through, teaching people how to fix their marriage or feel better or eat better. Could you imagine being on here in 5 days? I see Pam there. I think she's over 30 courses since she's listed. We've only been up running the demo for like 3 weeks. She's got 30 courses. Again, I'm not saying you're going to sell 30, right? No promises, but we built something amazing, and our goal is to drive people here, and it's what the world wants. But without further ado, I hope Mr. Russell Brunson's here to kind of anchor this in and give you your assignment for your software. So let's do it. Let's give it up for Russell Brunson.
Back here. Hey, how's it going? It's always weird to delay, but we're back. All right, so I'm excited for you guys. Last night, I sat down, I said, okay, I'm gonna do the homework assignment with everybody to see how simple it is. It took me less than 5 minutes. And then I went and I was like, I wanna put some courses in here to see what that's gonna look like. And in less than an hour, I put 2 of my courses into the platform, into the software, and it's really, really fun. But I've been reading all the comments, and people have been asking so many questions like, what is the software everyone keeps talking about? What is the platform? I have no idea what you guys are even talking about. How many of you guys are in that spot where you have no idea what we're even talking about right now? Okay, so many of you guys. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys, it's like a minute-long trailer video to explain what the software is. That way you have some context about what in the world we're talking about, why it's important, why you should get it. And then I'm gonna show you guys how to actually do the homework assignment. It took me less than 5 minutes. I'm gonna show you guys that next, okay? But first, I'm gonna show you guys the demo video of exactly what the Mastermind software platform is. So let's run that first video right now.
If you're trying to learn or share knowledge online, you need to check out mastermind.com. Mastermind.com is a one-of-a-kind marketplace for lifelong learners. It was launched by these 3, who've created roughly this amount of courses. So I think they knew what they were doing. Just log in and explore the hundreds of courses from world-class experts. Take a class on how to launch your own online business, how to hire or become an influencer, how to cook something edible, or even open your own restaurant. It makes the process of self-education enjoyable and affordable. And if you already have a course, Mastermind makes it easier than ever to sell your knowledge. Just upload your content, click some tags, and set a price. But what's really special is you can also create your own live mastermind in minutes, which is a game changer for virtual events. You just pick the dates, times, and then go live. Hi, everyone. Like I said, if you're trying to learn or share knowledge online, you have to check out mastermind.com.
All right. So that is what the Mastermind platform is. It's very simple. It's very easy to use. And like I said, last night I did the homework assignment. It took me less than 5 minutes. So we're going to show you guys exactly what to do. If you are taking notes, we're going to walk you guys through the 5 steps. It's not going to be too difficult. It's really simple. It's easy, but it's going to be the first 5 steps for your homework assignment today. So that said, I'm going to put the video of me doing the homework assignment right now. All right, everyone, I want to welcome you to your very first homework assignment. Now, the good news is this assignment is actually very simple and very easy. It's just 5 short steps. Shouldn't take you more than about 5 minutes or so to get it completed. But we wanted to give you this first assignment to get you into momentum. Okay, the biggest reason why some people don't have success is because they never actually get started. So Dean, Tony, and I, our biggest goal right now is to get you moving, get you off the sidelines into the game and get you moving forward. So today's assignment is going to be very simple and very easy, but it gets you into the game, okay? So the first step is you need to log into your mastermind.com software. If you don't know how to get back to it, just go to mastermind.com and click on the login link at the top, and it's going to take you into your dashboard that looks like this. Now, for some reason you don't have a mastermind account yet, I highly recommend getting one at least during the challenge. You can get a 14-day trial by going to trymastermind.com. Go get the trial, and at the end of 14 days, if you don't like it, you can cancel it and don't pay anything. But at least you have the tool to be able to use, start plugging in the stuff that we're going to be showing you guys throughout the challenge. Does that sound good? Okay, so go to trymastermind.com if you don't have your account yet, or if you do, go to mastermind.com and let's just log in and you'll be taken to your dashboard like this. Okay, so now I'm in my dashboard. I'm gonna walk you through the 5 steps you need to do. Step number 1 is you need to create an organization. Now, don't stress about this. You can change this anytime if you want. The organization could be your business name. It could be your personal name. It doesn't even matter, okay? So for this example, I called my marketing secrets, okay? It's one of my company names. Now, if I wanted to change it, I can click on edit right here and I can change it anytime I want. So don't freak out or like, I'm not sure I'm gonna be. You can change it. So don't stress, just go and create your organization. That's step number 1. Okay, pretty easy, right? Okay, step number 2. Now you're going to go into your organization. So I'm going to click on marketing secrets for me, and I'm going to go actually set up my very first mastermind. Now I've already got a bunch of them here inside my account. So I'm going to scroll down to the bottom, and there's going to be a button here that says add new mastermind. Okay, so you're going to click on the add new mastermind, and that's going to go and set up your very first mastermind. Now, the good news is it's not live, so don't stress out. Nobody can see it yet. It's in draft mode. This is just for you to see. Okay, and I want you to start thinking through what could your mastermind be. Okay, and again, you can edit, you can change these things anytime you want. No one's going to see it except for you, so don't worry about it. We're just going to put things in here right now to have some fun and just get you into the game. Okay, so I'm going to come out here. I'm going to name my mastermind. So I know that there's a course I want to upload here in the near future, and the course is called Funnelology. So I'm going to copy and paste my title right here. I'm going to call it Funnelology: The New Art and Science of Funnel Building by Russell Brunson. Okay, then I scroll down here to public description, and this is just a description what this course is about. Okay, so I pre-wrote this before I got started. So here's the description. You can make that bold. If you want, you can do basic editing. You know, I can add in bullet points and stuff. But there's my description, what the course is about. Okay, and that, you guys, is step number 3. See how simple this is? We got 2 more steps yet. We're almost done. Okay, step number 3, we're going to upload either a mastermind thumbnail or a trailer video. Okay, so what is this? Let me show you. When you go to the marketplace, so if you go to the mastermind marketplace and you look at this, you scroll down. These are the thumbnails right here, right? So you can see the thumbnails of the different courses. But you can also put a video trailer if you want. Now, most of you guys will not have a video trailer done right now. Okay, and that's okay. Just put your thumbnail image in there. Okay, in fact, this is my list building secrets. If you click on this, you'll see all I have here is my thumbnail image and then my description down below. Okay, and you can see the names of the modules, and somebody can go and they can purchase it. But with my other course here, my 10x Secrets course, I did make a trailer video. So if I click on this, it takes me there, and instead of the thumbnail, you'll see the trailer video. And someone clicks play on it. Obviously worked really, really well. It takes them to my trailer. And this is just a sales video to sell my mastermind. And so you don't have to do that, but that's just kind of what those are. So all you do now is you need to upload either a thumbnail image or a trailer, or you can do both if you want. Okay. So I'm just going to do a thumbnail image right now. So I click on this right here and it lets me upload the image. So you can do it any kind of image. You can take a picture of yourself on your phone and upload it. You can get a designer to design something and upload it. You know, you have any kind of option you want. And you can delete this image anytime or change it out. So this is not permanent. But right now I want you to upload an image. Even if it means just take a picture of you on your phone smiling, let's do that. Okay. Now here is the image I created for this Funnelology course. I'm going to copy it and paste it there, and boom. Now it is my thumbnail when somebody looks for it inside the marketplace. Okay. I'm not going to put a trailer in. I'm not going to put in a trailer cover image. Mastermind experts, I'm just going to put my own name there. And then max members, this is how many people are allowed inside your mastermind. Now, if you click on the eye, it'll give you a little information on what each of these little things are, right? So the information here says the max numbers of buyers for this mastermind, if you leave it defaults, is unlimited. So I want to sell this to 1 million people. So I'm just going to leave it blank. If you want to sell it to just 10 or just 20 people, you can put a limit on there, but I'm not going to put a limit. Okay. So I click on the create mastermind button, and guess what? My homework is completely done, you guys. My very first mastermind has been set up, and that's it. Now your homework is completely done. So the last step now is when you go back in your Facebook group and let us know that your homework is finished. That means going in there, and if you want to make a post, take a screenshot and say #homework1, or even better, go live. And in the live, tell us about the course you want to create. Tell us about the mastermind you're envisioning. Talk about the different frameworks you're thinking about creating and putting together. Like, let us know about the ahas you had during this time, and then do #homework number 1. That way we can see that you completed the first homework and you'll be qualified for the prizes. Thanks so much, you guys. And I hope you enjoyed this very first homework assignment inside of the Build Your Brand Challenge. All right, you guys, is that simple enough? Literally, it shouldn't take you more than 5 minutes to do the very first step in the process. But we want you guys to go and to do it. Now, if for some reason, if you don't have the software, again, if you go to trymastermind.com, it'll take you to a page where you can get the dollar, basically pay $1, and then you got a 14-day trial. The 14 days starts today, so you got 2 weeks to play with it, upload a course, and just go through the whole process. And it's really fun and easy. And if you want the homework listed out in steps, I believe we have it if you go to BYBhomework.com. So BYBhomework.com, you can get a PDF that's got all the steps, so you make sure you don't miss any of them as you are doing the homework. And that's kind of it for the homework assignment. So you guys all good with that? All right. And again, right, if you don't have your software yet, go to trymastermind.com. So that's kind of it on my side, Dean. What is the next step in the process?
Let's go. What's up? Let's give it up for Russell Brunson. Listen, here's the cool part. Today, think how much we threw at you in just 2 hours and 8 minutes, right? We had the opportunity to go to the whiteboard where I showed you how if we niche it down, right? If we niche it down, that builds our confidence, right? Thinking of 7 billion people or our whole industry or just even the industry. But when you niche a niche inside of a niche, inside your industry, all of a sudden, like my wife, confidence grew. My confidence grew when I was going to teach people how to match buyers and sellers with cars 20 years ago, right? You heard Tony's story. Then Russell gave you a framework. You got to go back and watch that. Hit pause. His brilliance was in there. Sometimes he was going fast, thank God, because I told him he had to fit an hour's worth of work in a half hour. But now you can go back and listen to that and see you do have a story. You do have a journey. You do have life experience. You do have a skill. You do have a hobby. You have a passion. And again, this is just day one, and we took you on that journey. And then Tony, oh my God, like I said, I was sitting here like this, watching, mesmerized, getting just invigorated, because if this isn't right, none of this works. It doesn't matter what tactics, what strategies, what skills we give you. If you have the wrong story, you're just going to go, oh, maybe next time, maybe after COVID, maybe when my family believes in me, maybe when I don't feel insecure, maybe when everything works out financially. That's not the time. The time is to take uncomfortable action now. Tony's been saying it for, I've been listening to him for 2 decades, but I realized what transformed my life is when you get resources to then be massively resourceful. And you don't have to figure this out on your own. That's why Tony, myself, and Russell are going to go on this 5-day journey with you. Tony will be back on day 4 or 5, one of the days to anchor it in, but wait till you see what we have planned for you tomorrow, right? So, and then we got to the homework. There's homework for those of you who are just, don't have the software. Everybody should do that homework, right? Go in the Facebook group and leave a message about a belief that's never going to happen. But then there was the homework for the people with the software. This is how we start to make it real. This is where you get the butterflies. This is where there's no more saying, oh, I'm just going to, this is where you do it. Do you feel that energy of oh my God, this is real? He just listed a mastermind in 5 minutes. Do you feel that, Sarah? I see you clapping, right? It's that nervous energy. SK, I see you. SK Sneezy, I see you. It's that uncomfortable action, right? Is it Dooney or Dunny? I see, it's that feeling of okay, this isn't one of those things where I got to spend thousands of bucks to hope it work. If you go back and you watch that 5-minute video, plus like Russell said, if you go, we gave you a lot of URLs, but BYB homework, that's where you can find those steps. Watch that video again. Go do the homework. Get inside the software, make it happen, follow the instructions on how you hashtag, let us know, because tomorrow we're giving away a whole bunch of ethical bribes to get you to do it tonight. How many times in life have you wanted to do something, you said, later, and you missed it? This is not about missing. We're not holding anything back. We're doing everything we can to serve to make this real. Okay, so you got your deal. You go to trymastermind.com for the $1 trial. You want to be in the Tony will be with us for a couple questions here in just a few moments in our VIP lounge, and you get to keep it if you want to go to BYB Upgrade. That puts you in the VIP. Also, the homework is at BYB Homework. So sorry for all these URLs, but people, if you could be posting these, my team post them all over the 3 different URLs. And then let's give away 2 more prizes. Let's give away to Samantha Quinn and to Katona Snooks. I don't think I said those 2. Samantha Quinn and Katona Snooks for playing full out in the Facebook group. You are both getting a ticket to our World Summit. You are getting the Elite ticket, which is $1,595. You are both getting a ticket, and I'm pretty sure that event's going to sell out just like UPW did. You guys are going to have access to that. And guess what? We're giving away killer prizes, and they get bigger, better, and more each day. And what do you have to do to win? What do you have to do to pay us back? What did we say? Pretend you spent $5,000 for this, so you play full out, and then pay us back by taking action. Pay us back by finally doing this, by not being left behind, by having this success that, listen, this morning, I left Tony a message this morning about how we were doing something for his students, and he left me a message back crying. I'm sorry, Tone, just saying it like it is. His heart, all of our hearts, to get you to take action and see success in your life. When Jamie was sharing her story about her media or her makeup line yesterday, I watched Tony cry 5 times. The man cares for your results. So you want to pay him back, pay me back, pay Russell? We're telling you, just go out there and be successful, live into your full potential, take massive action, and we appreciate you being here. So tomorrow, 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 2 o'clock Eastern Time, we'll be live again. Tomorrow, we're going to take what we did today and go further down the road. We're going to give you the confidence. We're going to fine tune and show you how to teach this in a way that comes from your heart, where you will have the absolute ability. We're going to help you identify the exact person that wants it. We're going to give away crazy prizes. We're going to make it fun. Did you guys have a good first day? Thumbs up. On a scale of 1 to 10, tell me, did we serve? Did we do the right thing? Is there a 1 to 10? Let me know. And for those of you who are in VIP, in about 3 minutes, we'll start right here in the Zoom room. We'll take a 3-minute break. Stay right there. For everybody on Facebook, be back here tomorrow. Appreciate you so much. Play full out. Do the homework. See you soon.